Alright, hello, welcome to the Forbidden FM, aka Forbidden Land podcast. It should work now.
Nice.
Okay, we're on. Good
Hello,
lord.
everybody.
So, alright, I think it's just OBS needed a little restart.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, it's using 90% of the GPU, so...
Oh my god.
That has to be Discord doing that, right?
Well, I mean, I was gonna say if it's done that on previous shows, but I don't know if you would have known that because we weren't tracking it.
You know,
So
it's never done that before. I don't know what's going on.
I guess just keep track of your GPU.
I guess so. Good lord.
I don't know. On your own on that one, bro.
Alright, well, the podcast has started. I have a list of stuff we could talk about.
I can't see you if you're trying to be seen.
You see me?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So I do have a list of stuff we could talk about.
Okay.
So first I want to know who's on your Nightmare Blunt rotation. We're going to fulfill the title.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot to think about that. Hang on, you really put me on the spot with that one. It's gotta be like a politician, right? At least one of them.
Sure.
Um. Oh God, it could be anyone.
Yeah. Anybody, dead or
There's
alive.
so many people I can't stand.
Yeah, dead or alive.
Probably. I'm trying to think of something that's not obvious. Do you think if we gave Joe Biden a blunt, he'd magically become like more lucid?
I think it would kill him.
I was gonna say Joe Biden, but it might actually, I don't know, maybe it might cure his dementia or something.
I think it would just straight up murder him if I'm being honest.
Yeah, probably probably Frank from Shameless, and let's throw Netanyahu in there. I don't know. Or let's throw I don't know. Point me a couple ways here. I've said too many politicians.
Dude, he might. I think if you smoke it up with Benjamin Netanyahu, he might start speaking like Nazi propaganda to you.
Yeah, he might go into how the Palestinians actually did the Holocaust.
Yeah. They just convinced Jew-loving Hitler to kill us, you know?
That'd probably be my nightmare rotation, though. How
Um,
big of a rotation?
huh?
Can we just have a giant rotation with everybody on Earth?
Yeah.
Just be like this huge rotation. That would be great. Wouldn't really be able to talk to anybody on that.
Yeah,
What's yours?
I think Henry Kissinger for sure. Maybe Dick Cheney. All the big players in the Iraq War, in the Vietnam War.
Obviously, I was like really young. Didn't Dick Cheney like shoot somebody by accident or something?
Yeah, he shot someone on a hunting trip at the end of the Bush administration.
Did he kill that person or did they live?
I don't think he killed them. It was on accident, but he shot him in the head.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he shot them in the face.
By accident?
I think it was by accident. That'd be so fucked if he did that on purpose.
Yeah, that was kind of in the back of my memory. I knew like Dick Cheney, I think, shot somebody by accident or something, but.
And I think he got away with it too. I don't think he. I think because he was on accident. They just were like, yeah, that's whatever.
Well, yeah, he's also Dick Cheney, so.
Doesn't he? Doesn't he also have like a penis that medically destroys his heart or something like that?
What?
You ever heard of that?
If he does, I don't know about it.
He has such a large hog that it would literally give him like a heart attack if he got hard or something like that.
Oh God! Hang on, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney penis. I'm googling it.
Yeah, he has a huge hog, dog. Look at the imprint.
The first thing I found is r/Red Scare Pod, the Dick Cheney Bulge Incident,
Yeah.
2001. Oh God.
I wonder if I
Oh.
can
I'm sending you this in the DMs. Wait.
Dude, bro's got a hog on him.
Oh God. Well, you might have actually already seen this then.
Is it him talking to the guy in the white outfit?
Yeah, and you can like see it like running down to his knees.
I have it up on the screen right now.
Oh my God. Wait, I can't see the screen.
Yeah, it's fine. It's on the stream though.
Okay. I was gonna say you might have to keep that picture up a little longer. Sorry. Oh my God, that's insane. Who else in the rotation? Do I want to say any of my old coworkers? Not by name, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
Just drop all the old coworkers that I hated.
If it seems like it'd be a nightmare to smoke up with them, then probably.
Oh yeah, I would. Can't think of anybody else though. I should have done more homework for this. I could have had an absolutely huge rotation for you.
I mean, you could probably pick like former like Hillary Clinton would probably be on my list too. We're smoking marijuana.
I was gonna say she might be at least like I don't know, slightly personable. I guess we need somebody. We need some. Well, I was gonna say maybe not because we need somebody with absolutely like no social skills.
Yeah.
Who's somebody who, well, obviously smoking is about like chilling out. So who's somebody that can't chill out?
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
I'm just here smoking this marijuana.
Dude, that would be a disaster. I think that would probably lose her the election again, like single-handedly.
Even if she's not running.
Yeah, that'd be a real Pokemon go to the polls moment.
That's what I think about anytime I make that joke, is just thinking about the Pokemon go to the polls.
That was so embarrassing. That was probably why she lost. That was like the Howard Dean moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that was good. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think her posting cringe on the timeline is what lost her the election to some extent. That and the emails.
I was honestly too busy raging over Trump. I didn't even know all the cringe that Hillary posted. I knew about that. I knew about all the big stuff, but I know she was trying to be hip in like a bunch of other ways.
I used to be super libbed up, being like, "Yo, Hillary."
Dude, I remember when I didn't know anything about Kamala Harris.
Oh like, yeah.
Dude, Kamala Harris, bro.
Do you remember the day that I told you she used to be a cop and you were like, "What?"
Yeah, well, it wasn't even that. It was like that was the start of it, and then I started reading up about her tenure as was it Attorney General, right?
Yeah.
And all like the non-violent arrests basically that she like presided over,
all the weed arrests.
It's like you're in California too. You'd think they would chill out with that stuff, but
I'm just chilling.
That was probably back in what, the 80s, 90s, something like that.
Early 2000s, probably.
I was gonna say, I actually didn't know when she was the Attorney General, but
she was that during the, I think, late 2000s, early 2010s, because then she became the senator of California, and then she was picked as the vice president. So
I remember even in 2020, people were like, "Guys, we got to settle for Joe Biden because we're not going to get anybody else."
We all hated Joe Biden back then.
Like, if that's the level of enthusiasm you're like bringing into your first bid for election.
It's like,
was that even his first bid? Because I thought he was trying to be president for a while.
He ran in 2008 in the primary and lost to Barack Obama.
Oh,
That's why he was picked in the
right.
first place for the white moderate vote.
Yeah,
She was
you're
attorney
right.
general from 2004 to 2010, and she was the first woman district attorney of San Francisco. Oh, that's when she was the district attorney, 2004 to 2010. Um, she was deputy district attorney from 1990 to 1998. When was she the attorney general?
I'm really curious as to how she would run the presidency. I wouldn't say I'm excited for it, but I'm kind of
Uh,
curious.
yeah, I feel like she'd just be the most like milk toast, like boring Democrat president of all time. We would
She
just
probably will be president.
imagine all the lows of Barack Obama's administration, and that's probably what she'll be.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really she's probably gonna be president. I think
If he
at least for
dies,
a little
yeah,
bit. I was gonna say there's no way Joe Biden would have to be what 86, 87 by the time he leaves office. Was he 81 now? I think.
yeah,
You say yeah, that's 5 more years.
he's the oldest president and the oldest person to ever run. I think to like make it to the
I was gonna say,
general.
which is funny because that directly was preceded by the last oldest president.
Donald
And it's like
Trump, yeah.
we just keep getting older.
I'm trying to
I
see
don't know
why is it
what we're
so hard
doing
to
my
find
age
out
now.
info about her?
About Kamala.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, I want I
That was
want
really all I needed to know.
I just wanted accurate info. She was the attorney general from 2011 to 2017. Then she was the senator from 2017 to 2021, and now she's the vice
Mhm.
president.
I
So,
didn't know she was.
yeah, she was the senator she was replaced by Alex Padilla, um
Mhm.
who was chosen by Gavin Newsom, but uh
Gavin Newsom's all over the place.
yeah, he's like we took a referendum to build affordable housing and then we let the HOAs tell us where that money goes.
I just like that video of him tackling a little Chinese kid when he went to China.
Yeah, I
Have
remember
you
you
seen that
showing me
video?
that
Oh, that was so embarrassing.
when he was
You
playing
know, there's a
basketball and
new.
trampled a kid.
Yeah, I wonder if you can look this up because um, it's new and I don't remember all the details of it. But there was something. There's some new big scandal with him and like Panera Bread. Because yeah, you might have to look up the. Well, tell you what. Let me do it because I'm the one that brought it up. Um, it was something about
Oh, it's about the
he
minimum
basically.
wage.
Yeah. He said that like every restaurant has to do $20 an hour. But my buddy, I think it's like his buddy, like is one of the owners of Panera Bread, or is like really high up there. So he gave them an exemption for Panera Bread because it wasn't written specifically like that, but it was written like anyone gets an exemption if like bread is the only thing they sell
Yeah.
basically, and obviously that's basically Panera.
Do you want to know exactly what they're saying? I have the article
Yeah, what
here.
are they saying?
It's on KTLA.
Mhm.
It's the law doesn't recognize places that operate "quote unquote" a bakery that produces for sale on the establishment's premises bread. Um, Gavin Newsom says, "quote That's part of the sausage making of politics."
What? What does that
Uh,
even mean?
let's see. Longtime donor who has 2 dozen Panera Bread locations in the Golden State.
Oh, as a donor, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, I guess it's multiple reports
I,
published on Wednesday revealed that Newsom's relationship with Greg Flynn, a billionaire and longtime donor who has 2 dozen Panera Bread locations in California, may have been the reason the exemption was included.
Yeah, so he was like, you can go ahead and keep paying your people an unlivable wage
Yeah,
because you're my friend or something.
yeah. Oh,
But yeah, that
they
that came out like just yesterday.
they just sell bread. I mean, haven't you seen their bread? They just sell bread. You know, they don't sell soup or coffee or smoothies or any of that shit or mac and cheese or sandwiches. Just
I want
bread.
to see him. I want to see him like aggressively defend that in an interview.
I don't know where
That'd be
this Gavin Newsom impression comes from, by the way.
fun.
Where I sound like
What's
a
that?
southern, younger version of Trump. It's just bread, man. Or I sound like Joe Biden.
It wasn't bad. We'll take
To be clear, at no time did I ask for an exemption on special considerations.
it.
Also, I never met Gavin Newsom about this bill, though I did meet with his staff in a group meeting. Oh, I didn't meet him. I just met his staff who drafts the fucking bill. What
It
are we
almost
trying to
makes me
say?
want to look. It makes me want to look up this other guy to see if he's got any shady stuff going on. Because these people, they all talk.
Let's see. Friends of the party in power get exemptions, and that's not right. Assemblyman Joe Patterson, Republican, said, if this is a bad law for one company, then it's probably a bad law for other companies. Oh, shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
And I'm sure that person is absolutely fine with Clarence Thomas, hearing Trump's cases and stuff.
Yeah.
And
This
I'm sure that.
Republican is basically saying if the law isn't good for Panera, we shouldn't have it at all. That's not why. The
Wait,
Panera
wait,
is
what?
exempt. This Republican is saying that if it's bad for Panera, then it should be bad for other companies. Thus we shouldn't pass this law. Even though the only thing about the bill is that Panera can afford it, it's just exempt because the dude is friends with the governor. We're not dumb, you
Well, I was
know.
gonna say, and Republicans don't like paying people living wage, so you should
Yeah.
love that.
Republicans would go with slave labor if it was legal.
Yeah.
Like, let's be
Isn't there
real.
literally isn't there literally like a child labor epidemic going on in the country or something?
Yeah, all the reports of like
Oh, like I've heard
Chick-fil-A and
of it.
places like that hiring 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
They're trying to make a law in Tennessee, I think, where it's like child labor is okay as long as the parents consent.
Oh God.
Like 13 and 14-year-olds can work without permits or some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Oh, this is what it is. They can work adult hours. So like, you know how 17-year-olds can't work like past a certain point or
What? So
else
they can do 40-hour work weeks?
that's what I'm saying. And it's like, well, they can't drive at night. So how are they going to get to and from work? Also, they're children, dog. They have other
Yeah.
shit. It's like weird
Yeah.
how we don't think about the whole like, why are we making children work in the first place? You should have to be 17 and up to work. And you should not be, as a 17-year-old, you should not be forced, maybe even 16-year-olds if you want. I can see the argument for that, but you
Yeah.
should not be forced to work more than a certain amount of hours around a
Yeah.
certain range.
Well, even then, because they don't want to give people, that's cheap labor. They don't want to give people raises and stuff. So,
Yeah.
that's just a way of working around that.
Because I
That's
understand,
insane.
like,
I'll have to look at that bill.
to some extent, I understand making your 16 or 17-year-old get a part-time job to, like, pay for a car or something like that. I understand that.
Yeah. Or
But,
just for like work experience, but then
yeah.
like when you're growing up, there's a pretty significant difference between like a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old. You
I,
know.
I know I can be the exception because I didn't work in my teenage years. Like, I worked over breaks and over summer, but I didn't work during the school year. So I don't relate to the
Mhm.
working after school and stuff like that. But I do sympathize with the kids that do. You know, the kids that go to fucking clubs and then come home and have to
Mhm.
immediately go back to work, and then they get home and
Well,
like
even then,
die.
like I guess I technically worked when I was 14, but that was, that's not it's paid I did like paid volunteer stuff
Yeah,
for a swim team. I was one of the people that was like a backup timer for the races, but that I got paid for that, but that's like volunteer work. That's not like working at a Chick-fil-A and being around like oil fryers and stuff. Like,
my pleasure.
yeah.
I think it's already illegal for you to be in a kitchen before a certain age. Like, I think if you work at a restaurant, you're
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
16.
Like at least I know it's some company. I don't know if it's by company or if it is like a universal law, but at least some companies like McDonald's,
Yeah,
a lot of fast food grill places, like if you're under 18, you can't even work the grill.
yeah, you have to be a server.
Yeah, or you have to be like an order taker or something like that. But yeah, you
Yeah.
can't even work the grill, which is funny because you can work the fryers, but not the grill.
Arguably way more dangerous than a grill.
Yeah, I would say the fryers are probably a little more volatile than the grill, but
I don't even trust myself to use a fryer, but I trust myself to use a grill.
yeah.
But so I wanted to ask you about this. This is in my notepad. Um, so the blunt rotation thing came from Elizabeth Warren, by the way, who's talked about
Wait,
having a
she
nightmare
said
blunt
that?
rotation.
Wait, what happened?
Elizabeth Warren said something about a nightmare blunt rotation or a dream blunt rotation. Yeah, she said the Rock
Oh,
times 4 is her dream blunt rotation.
can we just stop making politicians try to like, how do you do, fellow children? That's not Elizabeth Warren, but
Who asked
that,
her?
I think Elon Musk set politician hipness back like decades.
John Favreau on Pod Save America asked her who her dream blunt rotation would be.
Wasn't she one of the people that was getting like harassed by like the Palestine protesters or something?
I
I don't know how.
think
I don't know. How, I forgot how
so.
good she is on that issue because I never really paid that much attention to Elizabeth Warren.
I mean, if Bernie Sanders is suffering on that issue, I can't imagine she's too far behind.
Oh yeah.
But I just find it funny that she went on a podcast. Aren't these people like busy?
Aren't they what?
Aren't these people busy? It's like how Ted Cruz hosts a show on Rumble
Yeah.
or some shit.
yeah.
It's like, don't you have a job of running the country? What the fuck are you doing? How do y'all have all
I
this
mean,
free
we all.
time?
Yeah, I mean, we all know they get paid way too much to do way too little. You know.
Yeah, I think they get paid like 250,000 a year plus whatever their donors give them. So,
I thought I don't know if we already do this, but I thought maybe like get paid like by district. Like so, if you have like a shit district,
oh, like the median income of a district?
yeah, I was
Yeah.
almost thinking stuff like that. So yeah, if you let your district just fall apart and be shit, you don't deserve to get paid $200,000 plus donor money.
That's
No.
actually kind of awesome. I didn't even think about that as a
Well, but then again, it's like the entire Midwest would like the
crumble.
earnings of the senators would just like collapse. The entire Midwest.
Yeah, running for a major district like the Atlanta Fulton County district would be like the most lucrative thing on earth.
Yeah, and yeah, I kind of thought about that, but then you almost kind of like disincentivize people from running for smaller districts, I guess.
Yeah, the
But I don't know. I think it'd be worth a try at least.
one of the problems is that then it would incentivize donors. But then you'd also have to outlaw lobbying, which is just bribery.
Never gonna do that.
You'd
Yeah.
have to outlaw monetary lobbying. I don't mind lobbying in the sense that you go to the government and bother them until they do what you want. But
Yeah, that's like ideological lobbying, I guess.
yeah,
Mhm.
but like monetary lobbying is so it should be legal. It's just
Yeah,
bribery at that point.
and yeah, it is just bribery, basically. I mean, I'll do favors for these people after they take their money.
So, what do you think about my list is so funny. Number 3 is Biden melting mentally.
Which time?
That's what I'm saying. I think I wrote that when he went to that press conference and was like after they cleared him for the investigation for the documents, he decided to hold a
Mhm.
press conference and just
Well,
like
keep in mind they didn't even really clear him.
yeah.
The ruling was basically, yeah, he did it, but he's too old, so we're not going to do anything about
Yeah, he's old and pathetic looking and no jury would convict him cuz they'd
it.
feel bad for him.
Oh my god. I don't know. I don't think, at least within the last couple of days, I don't think Biden has had any like huge moments. I did see a little bit of him on Seth Meyers, and he does this thing where um like he forgets the point of whatever he's saying, so it's just like he's just like, oh, I don't want to get into that, and then he just like changes subject. It's like, well, that was the main point of whatever you were saying, right?
Yeah. Can we like pump a
Like
5 hour energy into this man?
he needs some whatever Trump was taking.
The adrenochrome or whatever.
Just pump him full of that. He's only got 5 more years. You know.
Dude, it's like it's crazy how I'll watch him in interviews and he just looks dead. Like
Yeah.
dude, he'll be talking. Somebody will ask him a question, right? Like they'll be like, "What do you think about the border crisis?" And he'll be like,
Yeah.
"Well, I've asked my national security advisor to speak with Congress and and we're drafting a super right wing legislation about
We're conceding
closing.
to Republicans in
We're
every way possible.
we're trying to create a bipartisan deal with Republicans and we're gonna
I don't want to get into that.
next question." It's like, holy shit,
Dude,
dude! Somebody revive his ass.
dude, speaking of Seth Meyers, I saw him. You know, obviously they got to the Israel-Gaza situation,
Yeah,
and Biden said, I think he said, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something like without Israel, there's no, there's not a Jew safe in the world. So first of all, the subtext of that is you can't even keep Jewish people in your own country safe because it's not Israel.
yeah,
And even then, like obviously Israel's making Jews less safe worldwide because people are going to draw, the conclusions that, every Jew is like a crazy Zionist,
yeah.
especially because Israel is like, yeah, every Jew is a crazy Zionist. At least that's, what they say.
Well, I want you to think about it like
Yeah.
this, right?
Yeah.
I want you to think about it in terms of like we can criticize Iran, and they're a theocracy, Muslim majority country, but
Yeah.
we can't criticize Israel, who is a Jewish ethno state. Like we're not
Yeah.
criticizing it on the merits of the religion that it represents, and it doesn't even represent the religion. We don't criticize it on the state of like whatever religion it claims it contains.
Yeah.
We criticize it on its policy, and so like if Iran, for instance, is like we're gonna nuke half of Europe, we'd all have an issue with that, but not because they're a Muslim
Yeah.
country, but because they just said they nuke half
They
of
want to
Europe.
nuke half of Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when a country like Israel comes in and they're like, all right, we want to senselessly bomb an entire land region that we've held hostage basically for the last 70 years, all
Yeah.
because they retaliated against the fact that we're holding them hostage. Now we're going to kill
Hmm.
30,000 of their civilians, more than we've ever killed before.
Yeah.
When you criticize that,
That's
you're
basically, that's the amount of Ukrainian soldiers that have died in almost like 2 years. Well, more than 2 years now, right?
yeah,
Like
Israel
in only
is
months.
Israel drops more bombs in a month than we dropped on Iraq in like a year.
Yeah.
And
That's insane.
so when we criticize Israel, it's not like, we're going, "Oh, these fucking Jews." Like that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that this
Yeah.
right-wing government who is politically aligned with the most powerful nation on earth, the United States, they are essentially spinning propaganda about this little landmass that they own because they've
Yeah.
occupied it for 75 years. They control the ports, they control the border, they control what comes in, what goes out. You're not even allowed to
Yeah.
legally fish in the Gaza Strip. They will arrest you and they will take your equipment if you try to
Oh well,
fish.
now they'll just shoot you.
Yeah, now they'll just kill
Like
you. If you want
we've seen
flour,
the boats. Yeah.
if you want flour, don't even think about it. And so,
Yeah.
I hate this framing around criticizing Israel as like being a big no-no. Like it either makes you anti-Semitic or you're like, oh, but what about Hamas? It's like,
Yeah.
why can we not criticize? And so when I watch like the Seth Meyers thing, I hate how they phrase it. It's like the media is so scared of
They
phrasing
are.
it the wrong way. It's like Seth Meyers, because Jon Stewart doesn't do this on The Daily Show, by the way. I've been watching his episodes. His recent one is about Israel Palestine. He just
I
tells it
even
like
thought
it
he was a
is.
little soft.
No, I mean, to some extent, but overall, he's way more like
Oh
radically
yeah.
left wing than the rest of
I
the talk
mean,
shows.
yeah, he's light years ahead of other mainstream TV, but I even thought he kind of pulled a couple punches because he won't say the G word,
Yeah.
you know. the GEN word,
He just calls it
which,
the
I mean, that's what it
senseless.
is.
He just calls it the senseless bombing of
He called it like
civilians.
incessant, but yeah, incessant bombing of
Yeah,
civilians, and
but
it's
in
like,
reality, it is a genocide. So,
yeah,
but
yeah. I even thought he pulled a couple punches, but
he
you know,
kind of
he's
does.
definitely way better than anybody else would be.
Oh yeah.
You know?
So when he criticizes Israel, but when Seth Meyers talks about it, he's like, let's talk about the conflict in the Gaza Strip. Let's talk about the war with Hamas. Let's talk
The
about
the
the
incident.
IDF's war with Hamas. He never brings up, let's talk about the endless bombing campaign of just carpet bombing 30,000 civilians. They never want to phrase it
Yeah,
like that because it sounds horrible. And then when you come to the realization as a liberal that your tax dollars that come out every check or every time you pay taxes at the end of the year, that it's going towards the missiles that we're firing into the Gaza Strip, it
we
makes
should
you
just
feel
all
horrible.
stop paying.
Yeah, we should
If
just.
we all stop paying taxes at once, what are they going to do about it?
Yeah, we should.
Are they going to
Dude,
arrest 100 million people for not paying taxes?
I don't even know if we have 100 million people. What I want to talk about, I didn't put it in my list, but it has to do with
You know?
Gaza. Have you seen the Michigan primary results?
Oh yeah, it was like 100,000 uncommitted.
Mhm.
They were expecting only like 10,000.
Yeah,
And keep in mind, that's how much. Isn't that how much Biden won that state?
about, yeah. I mean, that's a
I know
major
it was
number.
like that kind of margins. Like that could, that could flip the election.
Dude,
And
that could fuck them.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that I'm sure we're about to see like a huge damage control tour from his staffers. Remember when they were like trying to meet with the Muslim American leaders, and they were like, "We made some mistakes." Like, I'm sure they're gonna do more of that.
We made a little boo
Um,
boo.
yeah, and keep in mind, like I've seen like focus groups and stuff. Plenty of these people, even if he does do a ceasefire now, they're still not going to vote for him.
Oh, yeah,
Because
he's
plenty of people
lost.
have lost family members. They've lost like friends and stuff, and you don't forgive that.
Yeah.
So like call me a pessimist, but I'm tempted to say it's already over. We got like you know almost a whole year left to go, but it's like it's Jover, bro.
It is Jover. It's like,
It is Jover.
and people, I've seen a lot of libs be like, oh, it's not a big deal, or them be like, oh, wow, why don't you participate in the voting process? And it's like, they did. They all went to the poll and they voted uncommitted
Yeah.
in a primary for the
hmm
Democrats. And that's 100,000 people rallied over the last 3 or so weeks. That's
And again,
insane
people they
numbers.
were expecting 10,000.
Yeah. And it should be a wake up call because, like you said, that could make or break the election. I mean, a Democrat has not won the presidency without winning Michigan in like 50 years. So
Yeah.
if he loses Dearborn and all these Muslim majority or Arab majority communities in Michigan, then he's screwed. And you already know Georgia's not going to vote for him again, like it did in 2020, because I think Brian Kemp's election proves that. I think we have enough Texas transplants here now that I think the state is
Mhm.
majority red at this point. And I mean, Texas is probably like
Definitely
half
feels
and
that.
half. Huh?
I just said it definitely feels that way that Georgia is really red.
Yeah. I
People
think
say it's like a battleground state, and I'm like, really?
it
Like,
it kind
is
of
it?
is, but I don't think we have enough Democrats here anymore to get a Biden vote. I mean, they voted Brian Kemp for a second term. I don't know if that just means Stacey Abrams is that unpopular or if it means that like
I don't
they're
think she
done with the
was.
Democrats because I mean, they reelected Raphael Warnock, who's a Democrat,
Yeah.
but I
Mm.
I feel like this recent midterm election is a scary insight into what the 2024 general election is going to look like because he
Yeah.
he
I
needed
honestly
Georgia to
have.
win that.
Yeah. I honestly got no idea because obviously you'd need Michigan, and I saw an interview with the Dearborn mayor. He was like ceasefire or lose.
Yeah.
Like basically, he had like an ultimatum. It's like, if you don't do this, you're gonna lose. So, but probably gonna be a big damage control tour. Um, and if you saw recently, this was I think just like hours ago. They were like the U.S. Biden is at least considering. I don't know if it was he's considering it or he will do it, but they're talking about doing aid drops in Gaza, like from America.
I've seen that.
It's like they're gonna do everything but a ceasefire. I think you know um, in terms of if I magically became president, you know, if everybody voted for, if everyone on stream voted for me for president, I would do like uh, pull the plug completely on Israel. We fund their health care too. Like
Yes.
not just our military, like they get free health care basically, and we don't. So take away all that, like all funding whatsoever, because this is the stuff that we fought in World War II against. I mean, literally, fascism. This is what we've been fighting against for a while. I don't know if you can really do this because the cat's kind of out of the bag, but I say we need to denuclearize them because they have nukes. You know, I
Do
mean, and you
you
know what?
do you remember
You
at
know what?
the beginning of the conflict when Israeli like war cabinet members were considering the idea of
They
nuking the
wanted to
Gaza
nuke
Strip?
Gaza.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh wait, that might dump a bunch of
And
radioactive. I mean,
and
they
it
didn't
would
decide against it because they cared about Palestinians. They just don't want to irradiate their own settlements and stuff.
yeah, cuz it would have the blast radius would have reached the communes that Hamas attacked on October 7th. So it's
Yeah.
like they would have
Well, even
fucked
then,
Israel either way.
yeah. Well, even then, if you want to if you want to occupy and resettle the land, maybe don't like bathe it in, in
Nuclear.
ionizing radiation. Like,
Exactly.
maybe don't do that. But I mean, I don't know if they would even understand that. Um, but yeah, like we should take their nukes because I mean, like I said, I'm very pessimistic, but part of me is thinking that this is the end of Israel. I mean, they're getting bombed from I think what three sides now.
Yeah.
Um, one of their former defense minister basically he admitted that the war with Lebanon, at least right now, is kind of lost. Like they drastically underestimated Hezbollah, and their settlements are getting bombed and all that stuff, and then Joe Biden wants to come around on Seth Meyers as saying Israel's making Jewish people safe. It's like, dude, they're getting bombed from like every angle right now.
Israel is
And
arguably one of the most unsafe places for Jews on the planet.
yeah. And what happens when they get? I don't think Hamas will get like a complete victory, but what if it flips around and some of these other groups just completely just ravage Israel, and are just basically. I mean, Yemen at least said that they're going to keep doing like Yemen and Hamas have both said they're basically just going to keep doing October 7th over and over and over. You know,
Yeah. Well,
so it's like
I
how many
watched
how many people will die if they just get to just roll over Israel and do whatever they want.
yeah. I mean, I watched the thing where a guy was like, I mean, good luck wiping out Hamas when you keep killing these children's parents in front of them and then
Yeah,
they
how many
grow up
Hamas
and
members are you creating by doing that?
yeah, it's like what good excuse are you giving Palestinians to not join Hamas when they grow up? Like you're
Yeah,
killing their family in front of them like that. It's like you're going to I mean, we learned with ISIS, you know. Our
yeah.
our
I mean,
invasion of Iraq created ISIS. Our invasion of
yeah,
Syria
and
is part of the ISIS story.
yeah, and we already learned that lesson, and Hamas is basically just hardline. I mean, yes, it's like a specific group, but I just think of it as hardline Palestinians who are trying to throw off, the occupation. Like you're never going to get rid of that. It's almost like occupying people with military force just doesn't
Doesn't
work.
work.
I don't know when we're going to realize that.
Oh, we
You know.
won't because it pays Lockheed and it pays whoever the fuck else,
Oh
Raytheon
yeah.
and
Did you see that? I think it was that Lockheed guy. I'll have to send you this. He was. doing some kind of big propaganda piece or whatever at a college campus. Um,
Yeah, the
and
engineer.
the kids were not buying it, bro. They were
Yeah.
like, "How many children have you killed?"
Yeah,
Or how does
my
it
ethics when
feel?
I get a Lockheed contract.
Yeah, he was like, "How does it feel to work with genocide supporters and murderers?" And he was just like, "I'm not gonna answer that."
Oh,
And
I
I'm
just
like,
designed
"Dude."
the bomb that blew up those 7,000 children.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so amazingly awkward.
I've always thought about
Yeah,
that because I have engineering
make these
friends and I
people
wonder if,
uncomfortable.
yeah. No, because you know how conservatives always pull out the whole, oh, they're like blocking traffic, or oh, they're making us uncomfortable with their protests. And it's like,
Okay, well,
well,
it's like your comfort doesn't matter at this point.
the whole point of a
When you're
protest is to
doing
make you
stuff.
uncomfortable. So then
Yeah,
you change stuff and they stop protesting.
it's like how some buildings are like you can protest, but only 7 miles away. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. You can protest, but the moment you block traffic, it's all hell. It's all no holds barred. We can just start firing bullets into the crowd.
Like I guess part of me does get like I don't know. What if you're in a real rush to like get somewhere? And I will agree that like the people who are getting blocked, didn't necessarily do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Um, I've always been kind of really kind of on the fence about like the traffic blocking. I still don't agree with like shoving the people out of the way or plowing them over or whatever some people do. But it's like, uh, while I'm not necessarily against it, if you're a protester and you're going to do that, just be prepared for, because you're kind of doing the lottery on the kind of person that you run into when you block them.
Yeah.
And you know, all I would say is hope you win the lottery on that one. But I've never. But yeah, you are right. I've never really been against it fully because it's like you need to make people uncomfortable, and you need to like when the whole world's ignoring the stuff that's going on, like you need to make them see that, you know.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's basically just whatever you got to do, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Well, I think we're seeing a major shift in like news media when it comes to this whole conflict because I don't know if you saw, but like
Are we?
CNN is
Oh
now
yeah, CNN.
platforming.
CNN has back.
Yeah,
Hmm.
CNN has started platforming like Mindy Hassan, the former MSNBC host, that's like very outspoken and vocal about the genocide. I
Yeah. Well,
think he
even
was
then.
on. Yeah, he was on Jake Tapper and then
Mhm,
some other program in a different hour. But
mhm.
I
Well,
mean, you
even
know,
then, they were showing the dead babies in the hospitals and shit. I
yeah,
mean, like CNN, like they still haven't fully kind of leaned into it, but I really think like not only is it just morally the right move to cover that, but I mean your ratings will probably go up because you're going to be like the only media outlet that is actually fully covering this, except for maybe like Al Jazeera.
yeah,
Um, you know,
dude, Al Jazeera is like one of my top sources for this stuff.
yeah, I've been following them. They're really on it. They got live updates and everything. Most of the people that I follow are just like independent um, creators, like the one we talked about. They're just like regular people that like live there and stuff.
Yeah,
Dude, you can literally find like the worst shit imaginable on like Snap Map. Like it's not even, you know, like I did a little experiment like the other week, and it's like you can literally just boot up Snap Map and just click on Gaza, and it's like I don't, it's like how are we denying this at this point?
yeah.
You know,
Well,
but
you know,
huh?
I think Zionism is kind of infested its way into like liberal circles and like the middle of the political spectrum in between the Overton window. I feel like
Yeah,
that ideology has been so conflated with Judaism that I feel like liberals are afraid that they'll be called anti-Semitic if they're against Zionism, while conservatives don't give a shit either way. So it's
yeah,
like, eh, I think that's one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of people have a hard time admitting that this is a genocide and speaking out against it. I think it's because they're afraid that, oh, because they don't understand what Zionism is. It's not being Jewish. It's
Yeah.
being, for a certain set of ideals that no matter what,
Expansionist.
yeah, no matter what, you must carve out a country for an ethnic group, no matter how many people it takes to kill, no matter
Yeah.
what force it takes to create it.
Don't they
Haven't
want like half of Egypt
yeah, have you
and
so
like basically all of Lebanon? Like I remember Netanyahu in front of the UN with that big map.
yeah,
It
I'll
was
show
like,
you.
good luck
Um
taking half of Egypt, dude. Like,
what it is so recently a guy in the Israeli government, and it's weird because they want to push Palestinians into the Sinai Peninsula, but
yeah, they want to do a tent city basically.
it kind of conflicts with this greater Israel map that they drew up, because what it is hold on, I'm trying to open up the picture itself and not the one on Reddit.
No.
I don't think I can open it up by itself. But here's um the map. I'm gonna show it here. So here's the map. This is the greater Israel map.
Oh my God.
It's parts of the Middle East plus parts of Egypt, the Sinai Peninsula, which Israel used to actually have control over the Sinai Peninsula before they
Mhm.
gave it back to Egypt, because they like
Yeah, that was
invaded.
before what was that? The Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
they would still have control over the Golan Heights. They have control over all of Syria, parts of Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, all of that. It's like, and Kuwait, and they're insane for thinking that's going to work. This
Yeah,
is like this is worse
you'd
than like,
basically have to cause World War III to do that.
dude, it's like almost worse than like British map drawing. Like
Yeah.
I saw a joke where a guy said that um he said that Britain drawing a map for Israel is like tying a pencil to the back of an animal and just saying go.
Yeah. Well, they literally did that, right? Because it was like it used to be the British mandate
Yeah.
of Palestine. Yeah.
Well, the
So
British
they
drew up almost all the maps for the Middle East, I feel like, right? Like, isn't that how that went
I mean,
down?
it would have had to be. I know it traces all the way back to like the Ottomans, but
Yeah.
I think I think that was what happened. We basically like Africa, the Middle East. We just kind of arbitrarily drew a bunch of lines.
Yeah,
You know.
they took Palestine from the Ottoman Empire and then
Hmm.
immediately declared it as theirs, and then soon came the Balfour Declaration and all this preparation to, I don't think it was originally supposed to be a Jewish state. I think they originally considered modern day Uganda for a Jewish state, and
Yeah.
then the Zionist Council was like, no. And then they were like,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
what
I was
about
gonna say,
Palestine?
yeah, at least like the colonization effort that goes back to World War One.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been wanting to do that forever, and obviously for them, this is like the final stretch. So that's, I mean, I really feel that's why they're so committed. But
And
yeah, I
like,
mean, half of Saudi Arabia, like I just don't know what the plan is.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I sort of know what the plan is, and that's drag the U.S. into a giant war and make them foot the bill for it. But in terms of like actually getting the territory that you want, like what I can't even say anything because I don't even know what the plan is. I'm trying to think of what the plan is of how you do this without causing World War III, but it's like you can't.
Yeah. No, yeah,
So
it's you know, it's one of these things where you look at the map for Greater Israel and you think, how the fuck are they going to pull that off? How are you going to declare war against Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Egypt,
yeah.
Jordan? How are you going to possibly do that? And then also Turkey, because there's a piece of Turkey on that map too.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
It's like, good luck with Turkey, dude. You know how much the U.S. loves Turkey?
I
One
thought
of
we were
the
kind of wishy washy with them.
so
But go ahead.
the last Turkish election, it was Erdogan versus an American-backed candidate. But
Yeah.
even though Erdogan still won, Erdogan is still very U.S. like like pro United States. And so
Yeah.
both of them are sort of US backed, but Erdogan is like the independent candidate that isn't directly tied to the US but doesn't mind the US. But the other candidate is like CIA supported. So
Oh God.
he would like coup the country basically if he became the leader.
Yeah.
But even then, Erdogan is still like an authoritarian leader that is still not good for
Yeah, I
Turkey. But
saw.
the reason they choose him is because it keeps the problems within Turkey without any U.S. intervention. But
Yeah.
the U.S. still likes
I
Turkey.
I was looking at a while back. I was watching a video on like Turkish politics and how they basically like compartmentalize all their government issues. It's like they like Ukraine and Russia. They're sending them both like drones and stuff, and it's like I don't get that, but
Yeah, but yeah, you mentioned earlier, aren't they getting bombed by Lebanon right now in the north?
yeah, that's what I was saying. They basically drastically underestimated Hezbollah,
Yeah,
and all their settlements in the north are getting bombed. Like I said, one of their former ministers said the north is lost. I
yeah,
mean, I don't know how true that is. I mean, Israel. I mean, Israel's never going to run out of bombs so long as we keep funding them. So I don't know how true that really is. But like Israel, they're still losing in Gaza. I mean, even to just Hamas.
yeah. Which is
Um,
weird because Hamas like barely shows itself. You know.
yeah, they really don't have to because I mean, they go through the tunnels and it's there's a lot of asymmetrical warfare. I mean, it's basically just a repeat of Iraq and Afghanistan from like the military perspective because like you can't drive these slow moving tanks and stuff through like the middle of a city with a giant sight, with like a million sight lines to where anybody with an RPG or a gun or a I don't know a rock or whatever they have, even if it is just people with rocks, if they're throwing rocks at you all the time from all different angles, it's like you can't win that. I saw a video of this happened like a few weeks ago, but Israel, the IDF soldiers were getting ready to demolish a school. So they were getting ready to do
Hmm.
that, and a rocket, they're setting up the charges on all the pillars, and a rocket comes in, sets the charge off when it hits, and the whole building comes down on all these IDF soldiers. It was like that. I think it's the record has been broken for the worst day for the IDF since, but when that happened, that was the worst day for the IDF, and it's
Yeah.
going to keep getting worse.
Yeah, I
Because
think
it's like they're
the
fighting a three front war basically. It's like
yeah.
when they're basically pinned against the sea. Like good luck with that.
What do you think the
But
chances are that Israel loses the Golan Heights during the Lebanon invasion?
um, I don't know a whole lot about the Golan Heights. I know that it's a settlement and that it used to be belong to the Palestinians. That's kind of all I need to
So
know.
so the Golan Heights is a region that used to belong to Syria, and it was occupied by Israel after a war with Syria like a long time ago. But the international
Mhm.
community has never officially recognized it as Israel's. And Trump
Yeah.
signed a declaration that basically said that it belongs to Israel, despite what the UN says, even though it goes against international law. That's not how that works. So it's still
Mhm.
technically recognized as just an Israeli occupied territory next to Syria. But I'm wondering, because
Yeah.
it's right next to Lebanon too, I'm wondering if Lebanon's going to try to take back the Golan Heights. I don't know how much you heard about when Trump was talking about the Golan Heights during his administration, but
I missed that. Honestly, I've only just come onto the whole Israel thing recently. I mean,
yeah.
I'd always been kind of skeptical of Israel, but like you said, you had like your kind of wake up moment for America. Like this is kind of mine, and I wasn't always aware of like Israel just literally stealing land from everybody and trying, causing a bunch of wars and stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
knew like as a principle of just like a state, run by, and belonging to Jewish people. I was like, is that not an ethno state? So I'd kind of always had problems. That's a big region. I thought that was smaller.
Yeah, no, it's right above Jordan. It's this huge ass ceasefire region.
Oh yeah.
But
And even then, so they're kind of getting creamed by Lebanon. I don't think Lebanon would win in like an extended war. I think the longer this drags out, the worse it gets for them.
yeah,
Because they don't have the production capabilities. I mean, keep in mind, Lebanon is basically a failed state. Um, like their government basically can't even provide for the country.
yeah,
And so there's Lebanon that they underestimated. They also underestimated the Houthis. Um, and I might have said this before, but keep in mind, like the Houthis have been getting smashed by the Saudis for like what 10 years since like 2015, and they've retained a lot of their capabilities. They just said that they were adding submarines. It's like they're not only are they just not losing their military capabilities, but they're gaining more.
yeah.
Like they're getting planes. I think they're like old MiGs or something, but they're getting planes, and they're talking about submarines now, which is hilarious. Which is like that makes me think they're definitely going to go after those cables, right?
Maybe.
Because there's no other reason that you would start adding submarines. Like as soon as I read that, I'm like, they're gonna cut those fucking cables, aren't they? You know, but I don't know. They might. I think it'd be really funny if they did,
It would
and just
definitely shake
blacked
things
out
up.
half. Yeah, and just kind of blacked out half the planet. I think like we have a bunch of other cables, so it would kind of be okay with us. I think.
We would be fine.
I mean,
We
it would
would. We
still
would.
tank the global economy.
Well, it would definitely fuck up the Middle East and Asia for
Yeah,
sure. In the way that Europe and America communicates with them. America and
I think
Europe,
it.
you'd have to go to the
Yeah,
Atlantic to cut our fiber lanes.
yeah. I think that line that they were talking about cutting doesn't isn't that the Europe one that goes between the Middle East and Europe?
I think so. And Africa.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be kind of hilarious if that happened.
Here's what I think will
But
happen
even
if I think if Lebanon commits to a full scale war with Israel. And I hate it
oh,
when
like
I hate it when liberals say this because liberals are all like, "Why are you telling Joe Biden to call for a ceasefire? What does he have? What is he gonna do?" And it's like, if he just simply called Netanyahu
maybe
and
be
went,
the president and be the most
"Yeah,"
powerful person in the world.
if he
You
called
know,
Netanyahu and went, "We're cutting you off. No more money, no more U.S. backed support. We're gonna stop defending you in the UN. We're gonna start voting for ceasefire resolutions, and all that." Then
also allow a condemnation in through the UN and maybe stop like vetoing all this stuff.
yeah, and if we
Actually
went
allow them to be brought up on charges.
And if we went, we're going to stop paying for your health care. We're going to stop sending you money for the Iron Dome. You know how much stuff we pay for over there? We basically run that whole country at this point
Yeah,
because we
I mean,
pay
we
for
pay for
all
their
their
health.
stuff. And so if we
Mhm.
cut off the Iron Dome funding, the healthcare system, the military aid, all that, I think that would pressure them into a ceasefire. But I feel like the other direction it could go, especially if Trump's in office and the genocide continues into a potential Trump administration, then I
Yeah.
feel like what will happen is that we're gonna have boots on the ground in Gaza at that point.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna send the Air Force over there. We're gonna send the Navy over there. And if Lebanon
Well, even
escalates into
then,
a full scale war, then we're gonna have
yeah.
boots on the ground from the U.S. to help them fight it. Because the IDF is way undertrained to handle. I mean, the IDF is like a glorified police force. They're hardly a
Yeah.
military, so
Well, they're thugs basically.
pretty
You
much. I
know,
mean,
thugs
and
and terrorists.
and so I mean, we've seen what happens when an actual army attacks them. They lose in large numbers because they suck as an army. But if the U.S.
Yeah.
comes in and starts training them and starts fighting alongside them, then Lebanon, I don't think has a chance. But I feel like the problem with that is that then provokes Iran a little bit because now we have
Mhm.
another U.S. involvement in the Middle East in addition to um, the involvement in Syria right now with bombing those Iranian-backed militant groups.
And
So
we already have boots on the ground in Yemen. Keep that in mind. Joe Biden said we
yeah,
didn't. It was like, oh, we're just bombing it.
well,
We got boots on the ground in Yemen right now.
one of the reasons why Aaron Bushnell lit himself on fire at the Capitol the other day is because the Air Force was allegedly about to get involved with directly bombing Gazans. So
Yeah.
I feel like either it goes to full scale war with the whole Middle East, or all of it gets pulled back by some president that has a sound mind to be like, I'm going to call the prime minister and be like, I'm going to veto every funding bill from here on out if you don't cut it out, if you don't cut back, you know.
I Here's where I stand on that because the pessimist in me just wants to be like, there is no gun. There's going to be no president with a sound mind. No matter which way it goes.
Well, Joe Biden's not
So
going to
it's
be
like
our president.
yeah, and Donald Trump definitely won't because
Yeah.
Trump, like you said, he won't even do the little tut tut like finger wagging that Biden does.
Yeah.
It'll just be a complete green light. Um, and I don't know. Damn, I kind of lost my train of thought. Hang on, where was I going?
I understand what you're saying. Where
Oh
if
yeah, but it's like we're not gonna have a president with a sound mind. So part of me wants to be like, okay, like a full scale war in the Middle East is basically a certainty. We're gonna get dragged back in there for another 20 years. Um, but then again, I mean, whenever these crazy like military things happen, it tends to be not as crazy as everyone thinks it's going to be. Like, remember the Prigozhin beeline for Moscow? Everyone was like, "This is the end of Russia, dude,"
yeah.
and he just kind of killed him, and everybody moved on. It's like part of me just wants to, I guess, hold my breath and hope that somebody steps in, with a sane perspective and fixes this. But it's like you can't fix 70 years of occupation, just like that. Um, you got to have a Palestinian state, and Israel's already said like they're absolutely not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
So my most likely prediction would be a full-scale war in the Middle East. Um, but I actually didn't know about. I knew that what was that guy? Aaron, that soldier that
Aaron Bushnell.
self-immolated.
Yeah.
Aaron Bushnell, yeah. I mean, there's already people in the military that are protesting that stuff. So it's like, how much of the military is even going to be on board with doing that? I mean, I'm not predicting something crazy like the military just like refusing to do anything en masse. I don't
Yeah.
think crazy stuff like that's going to happen. I wish it would happen.
But if you told a U.S. soldier you're going to go over into the Gaza Strip and you're going to fire on children because there might be Hamas near them, then
Yeah, you know, I mean, yes, we did our fair share of war crimes and stuff in the Middle East, but it's like, you know, asking people to do that. Um, well, even then, I don't even know because we killed what, like 500,000 innocent Iraqis.
yeah.
It's like Gaza's like a tea party compared to that. Granted, that was over like a very long time span. You know, but I don't know. But I'm not very hopeful. Whatever happens, unless Biden and Trump both die, and then some insane candidate magically swoops in and wins the race and stops all this stuff.
I think the only way that
Yeah.
I think the only way that anyone calls for a ceasefire is if Biden dies right now.
Do what?
I think the only way a ceasefire is called is if Biden dies right now.
Do we think Kamala would do one?
Maybe. Biden's a lot
Well, even then,
older and he's a lot more well, one, he's older and he's a lot more like mentally,
yeah,
but also Biden has a history of being a bloodthirsty imperialist. I mean, let's think back to how he felt about Lebanon, how he was like, we should just go in and start fucking blowing up Lebanon like 40 years ago. I mean, the dude, like,
yeah,
his foreign policy does not have a good track record. Like, him going out of Afghanistan was probably the only good thing he did, and it wasn't even his decision. It was something that Trump had already planned on doing before
he
he
just
left
never did it.
office.
Yeah,
Yeah. If we had gotten a second term, he would have had to honor that agreement and leave Afghanistan anyways. I mean, every Republican president has done this since 9/11. I mean, Bush and Trump both set up evacuation plans for the wars in the Middle East in the chance that they lost the next election, and the Democrat would have to follow through on that. And of course, it was
Yeah.
going to go horribly. When Obama left Iraq, that was a plan that Bush had set up in 2007 that Obama had to follow through on when he took office. When Trump,
Right.
made plans to leave Afghanistan in 2019, Biden had to follow through on that in 2021. It's like we all knew those were going to be horrific exits,
Well,
and
I gotta
because
stop
we
the war, I guess.
oh, Jack, I gotta leave.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of all knew. I remember people were like, obviously the Republicans were having like a field day with the withdrawal
Yeah,
from Afghan. It's like I don't know how to feel about all the military equipment that we just left there. Like I don't know how to feel about that. But then again, I'm also sure that you can't blame Biden personally for that, or I don't know, maybe you can. Um, but it's like it was gonna suck no matter what. Like we knew the Taliban was gonna take control right back from us, you
yeah.
know. But
No, we
yeah,
didn't know
people had a
that. It's all
field.
because of Biden. It's all his
Yeah,
fault.
yeah, like people had
Um,
a field day with that. It's like, okay, then you come up with a plan for it, you
yeah.
know.
Uh, damn, I ran out of stuff on my list. Time to start improvising.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like a lot of our political discussions all tie back to the Middle East, and it's like we haven't even started on the domestic stuff.
You say what else is going on? We
Like
got
the fake border crisis. Like you're in Texas. Like how many
yeah.
immigrants you see coming in, huh?
Well, like at least with like my area around Dallas, like our community, there are a lot of Spanish speaking immigrants. What's funny is this particular area, there's actually very few people who speak English.
Yeah.
Um, but then, even then, in those areas where, there are a lot of migrants, it's like, okay, well, I'm now in an area where I'm the minority um, in terms of like language, maybe not in terms of like demographics, but it's like that should be up to me, to kind of, learn how to deal with it and, learn Spanish and stuff like that. I'm not like, oh, they're invading our country.
Yeah.
Um, and then again, I had something, I don't know if this would work, but I talked about this a few days ago. Um, you know, I don't know how this would work, but I almost thought like maybe if we want to really solve immigration, maybe we should invest in like the dozens of countries that we've destroyed in Central and South America over the last century because, the people are fleeing there because their countries are falling apart. So maybe if we help their countries not fall apart, and I don't know, call me crazy, but I feel like that might actually work.
Well, what's
And
funny
keep
is
in
that
mind,
the countries that
hmm,
are falling apart because of us.
well, yeah, and I also brought this up. Keep in mind that basically since the 50s, we've been arming, funding, and training uh, cartels
Yeah.
to destabilize governments down there whenever they try and do left wing politics or anything like that or communism or whatever. It's like okay, you can not like communism, but that doesn't mean just ripping the country apart on a whim. You know.
Do you ever think we don't install? You ever think we don't coup Canada because they're all white?
Oh no, we'll never coup Canada. Like
Because
that's
they're like the closest thing to a socialist country in the Western Hemisphere.
well, that's the thing is nobody like even the crazy Republicans. I mean, yeah, they don't like Justin Trudeau, but I never hear them really criticizing Canada.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it literally just a demographic issue? Like, is it just brown people and white people?
I would
You
say it
know?
is. I would say it is.
Yeah.
Look at how
Yeah.
look at how the Ukrainian invasion is essentially the most similar example or the most similar equivalent to the Israeli invasion of Gaza. Like Russia invading
Yeah.
Ukraine and committing war crimes, that is almost textbook similar to Israel invading Gaza and committing war crimes. And yet
Yeah.
every white liberal and their mother put a Ukrainian flag in their bio, in their name, still have it 2 years later. They still talk about Ukraine. and none of them
Yeah.
care about. And we even it's not like we're just bringing this up now. All the way back then, when the invasion happened, it was 6 months after
Hmm.
a lot of the news from the West Bank was coming out about IDF soldiers killing Palestinians. It was like
Yeah.
5 or 6 months after that happened, and everyone was up in arms about the Ukrainian invasion. And we all said that while it is good that people are supporting Ukraine during this, they're only doing it because they're white, because we didn't see any of these people speak up when the Palestinians were being abused in the West
Oh,
Bank.
yeah. Hmm.
And I remember us saying that, and 2 years later, 2 years later, here we are, and it's the same thing. All these white liberals with Ukrainian flags in their bios are some of the most fascist, racist people I've ever seen when it
Oh,
comes
yeah.
to defending Palestinians. They just
Hmm.
will not do it. It's kind of insane.
Yeah. Well, people will call people who criticize Israel like anti-Semitic and stuff. I just thought about this. Keep in mind, like Arabs are also Semites too. Like
Yeah, but I've
that's
seen
a
that argument too. But I feel like the common usage of the word anti-Semitic is commonly used in terms of being racist towards Jews.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Maybe it's a little bit of a semantic issue, but it's
yeah,
just always something I like to point out.
yeah. Because I've heard that argument recently, and I've always been like, yeah, but whenever you say anti-Semitic, you never think about the other Semitic religions or
Yeah,
ethnic
yeah, yeah.
groups. Yeah.
That's true. Maybe I'm full of shit.
Well, I've just seen it be like a semantic argument, and I've always been like, yeah, no, I get it, but we have better arguments to use in that debate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You might be right on that one.
But God, I feel like I had other political stuff. Let's talk about something fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
God, I don't even know. This is one of the issues I run into with the podcast when it's just me. Is I don't
do
know.
you have anything fun in mind?
I didn't write anything
Let's
fun
think.
in the doc.
What's fun? What are good fun things happening in the world right now?
uh, sheesh. Oh, I have something depressing.
Yeah. What is it?
So, speaking about the immigration thing,
Yeah.
um, God, what was it? Oh. So, speaking of immigration, I'm sure you've seen where that woman on the UGA campus was murdered, and they arrested a Venezuelan national
Hmm.
who who was here illegally, and immediately Brian Kemp comes out and posts that stupid shit about this is why we need to close the border. And a Venezuelan national made it all the way here, and he just senselessly murdered, even though the dude is
Oh,
only
come on.
arrested. I don't think they've even put him on trial yet or anything, at least at the time that he made that statement. And I'm like, one, I want to see the motive that they have. I want to see
Mhm.
the reason why he did it, all of that, because
Yeah.
they have not given us any of that info. All they've given is that they arrested a suspect. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but the speed at which they arrested him and the fact that they still have not given a motive.
And the
So
fact that he's an illegal immigrant, I mean, they'll arrest, illegal immigrants for anything,
yeah,
you know. Um,
I'm only slightly skeptical, and it's horrible that she was murdered, and I'm not saying it wasn't. But I think immediately coming to the conclusion, this is why we need to shove every illegal immigrant out of the country. It's like
yeah.
we actually have a perfect example of what happens when you do that, and it's Florida when Ron DeSantis was like every elite, like undocumented immigrant here is going to get shipped out of the country if we catch you. Look at how many grocery stores, how many farms, all these industries that just immediately died in Florida
Oh,
after
yeah.
that.
Well, what's funny is that, like, you can say stuff about these individual cases with illegal immigrants, but like migrant crime is actually lower nationally than natural born citizen crime, because think about it, on the macro scale, if you're an illegal immigrant and you commit a crime, your ass is getting deported.
Yeah.
So what do? You know, you fly under the radar. I was gonna say be a good citizen, but I guess it technically wouldn't be that. You know, be a good law-abiding person. Don't get yourself into any trouble. You know, if you get hurt, call an Uber and not 911. You know,
Yeah.
like that's a
Well,
huge incentive to fly under the radar. So it's like, nationally, a lot of immigrants, don't really commit crimes.
yeah.
So,
You know,
but yeah,
as
people will
a
find this one incident and they'll be like, "We need to kick them all out." You know.
well, as a uh woman, you're far more likely to be murdered by a male in your household. And
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why whenever they do the homicide,
you're far more likely to be killed by a white person than you are any other group. Yet when a
uh,
white person kills someone, we don't all go, "Oh, white people, ah!" We don't do that.
yeah,
But when a black person kills somebody, we go, "Oh, we need to reevaluate the fatherlessness in these homes, or the drug
we
epidemic,
need
or the
to,
blah blah blah." Oh, we need
we should
to,
reinstitute slavery.
yeah, we need Jim Crow back. Oh, or when a Hispanic person, whether they're here illegally or not, they kill somebody or they commit a crime, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we need to figure out the border crisis. And it's like, you are far more likely to be a victim of a crime that's perpetrated by a white person than any other group. Yet we don't throw up the white people. We don't do that when that happens. Nor should we. We shouldn't be doing that about any group. It's these are just people. It has
Yeah,
far more to do with their socioeconomic conditions than it does what like ethnic group they're a part of.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, keep in mind, crime is usually caused by like poverty, low incomes. People got to steal. I don't know about like murder.
And
I
a
mean, yeah,
lot
there
of it,
are genuine people who are messed up and will kill somebody.
yeah.
But
Yeah, because a lot
I
of
mean,
that
it's a
crime committed by impoverished people, a lot of the crime stuff is theft. It's property crimes, you know,
yeah.
or drug crimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of it isn't even violent crime,
Yeah.
but you just throw them all in jail.
Without
Kind of
with
about all
with a
of that.
high bond, and then we keep them in a cell for 6 months, and then they finally go and make a plea deal. It's like, isn't it like ninety
Yeah,
percent of the cases in this country are solved by plea agreements? Like they don't even
probably.
go on trial.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, when you're staring down the barrel of like, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years,
Yeah.
it's like you're gonna take a plea. So I've
Yeah.
never been charged with a violent crime, so I can't be sure, but I imagine I would take whatever deal I can get. So what else we got?
Trying to find something on Twitter that I think would be fun and goofy to lighten the mood, because we never talk about
Yeah,
anything fun.
nothing fun's happening.
Yeah. Oh, God. Let's see if I can find
What are
something
you looking for?
something just fun, something cool. I don't know. Tell a story.
A story?
Yeah, have you figured out your nightmare blunt rotation yet?
Um, Let me say. Well, I can't say any political people because I already did that. Um, I should have done my homework on that. Let me keep thinking.
All
Who
right.
is who's like? We need somebody incredibly like socially inept. I thought about Joe Rogan
But he'd be
because he'll
fun.
probably just start. He'll probably just start spewing like misinformation about how we never landed on the moon or something. Well, even I don't know. It even depends on what you call a nightmare rotation because I don't know. Like some of these people would be so amazingly awful that it'd almost kind of be enjoyable. And like
Yeah.
hearing Joe Rogan talk about lizard people or something, that would kind of be amazing. I would almost say Elon Musk because hopefully he would say something that would be like a giant PR disaster,
Yeah.
and I would just want to witness that in person. Remember when he said like go fuck yourself to all his advertisers?
Yeah.
on national TV, and like
And now they've all
the,
pulled out.
yeah, and the dude doing the interview was like visibly shocked. He was like, I don't know what to do about that, but it's gonna be hilarious when Bob Iger buys X for like $2 million or something after it's after it's lost like all its value.
That would be kind of funny.
That would
Oh
be
my
hilarious.
god. Here, let's
Yeah.
talk about interesting. The CDC says now you only have to isolate yourself for 5 days if you have COVID.
Isn't there a new COVID variant?
I think
Like
so.
another new one?
Like a lighter version, I think.
COVID light.
COVID light. COVID Omega.
I honestly haven't even been keeping up with like COVID spread rates. I would say I imagine it's slowed down, but you know a lot of people are traveling and stuff. You know, in Texas when that solar eclipse is going to happen, I'm almost tempted to think that that might cause a lot of COVID and stuff to spread around because like traffic's going to get messed up. I think they said that like the local area's population is going to like double. So like I don't you know, good luck good luck containing the spread of diseases, and it's going to be a bunch of people like crowded around watching the eclipse and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember back when COVID was the worst, where it was like basically a 9/11 every day.
Yeah.
I
Do
hope
you
it's
do you
not
remember
anywhere.
we used to say that every 2 days it'd be a new 9/11?
Yeah, let me look at COVID-19. Uh, I guess
Death
cases
toll?
U.S.
Uh the US is going to be
COVID
doing
connected.
airdrop to Gaza.
They are doing it.
They're going to airdrop food and supplies into Gaza according to Joe Biden 2 hours ago.
Yeah, while we bomb them,
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
sure
we
it'll make a
keep paying
difference.
for the bombs and bullets, Jack, but we're going to give you a sandwich.
This is interesting. I didn't even know. Apparently, at least as of the past week, only about 7% of people who get tested for COVID are actually positive.
Weird.
Well, I guess you know you feel kind of sick and you don't want to be worried about it, so you just go get tested.
Yeah.
But
Here.
even then, like I remember when there was a big issue with like how reliable are the tests actually, because there were like false positives and false negatives kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so COVID is going down. Um, oh wow, trend in hospital admissions. It's down 10% from almost 7 million.
Wow.
Well, that's like total at this point. That's insane.
Here, real quick, can I have you talk to the people while I go pee?
Oh yeah, sure. Who's on?
I don't know, but just speak your truth, dude. Just speak your truth. Talk
I'll just
about
unleash.
talk about something you're
Huh?
interested in. Something
Hmm.
specific to you.
What am I interested in? I got to think about something. Well, ladies and gentlemen, um, I got a cool knick-knack. Hang on, I'll show people that. Hang on, I'm looking for my cool knick-knack, everyone. Can't find the knick-knack, guys, but I'm not telling any one of you what it is. That'll remain a mystery. Let's keep looking at these COVID numbers. Hang on. Where was that at? I can't believe it was 6 million. see. I wish Discord. I don't know if Discord can do this, but I wish I could share my screen, so you guys could see what I'm looking at. But I barely know how to use Discord anyway, so I don't even know if you can do that. You might be able to do that. I was just seeing on whether or not there's a way that like I can share my screen on Discord because I barely know how to use it.
Yeah.
But
If you
I'm still looking at these. Huh?
if you share your screen, I'll cut to it.
Well, I didn't really have anything particular I wanted to show.
Oh.
I was just thinking about it. Still looking at these. I'm still looking at these COVID numbers. I'm trying to see like which state is the worst. Oh, these aren't like fatalities and stuff. Okay, this is just like test positivity.
I think I'm starting to feel the caffeine come down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you have a coffee?
Yeah, I had a caramel latte with Irish cream cold foam on it.
Got it from Starbucks.
No, I didn't get it from Starbucks. But
Your boycott.
but I think because I was like, damn, I have a lot of energy. What's going on? And then I realized it's because I'm hopped up on caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
But
maybe I need a coffee. I like woke up from my nap as soon as as soon as the stream was gonna start, so I was like half dead. I was like, maybe I should start drinking coffee. I just don't like the taste of coffee.
it depends on what you put in it. I hate plain coffee, like black coffee, but
Yeah.
But I usually can flavor it in a way that makes it taste pretty good.
I've just kind of given up because even when it's like a half and half of like, I'll just completely bomb it in creamer. It's like if there's any coffee taste in there, I won't. It's funny because I used to work at a Starbucks and I didn't drink coffee.
Well, Keurig coffee tastes like ass now that I've had actual espresso coffee.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I know some people go crazy with coffee. They know all the different like versions and where the beans came from and all that stuff.
Yeah, not to sound like a snob, but like actual espresso coffee, it's good. Like even because whenever I get it with like just a couple pumps of like syrup and some like almond milk in it. That's it. No creamer. None of that. Just 2 pumps of syrup, some almond milk, and like maybe some cold foam on the top. It's perfect. Because the espresso itself tastes good. But like Keurig coffee tastes burnt. Keurig coffee tastes like if you roasted it over a fire and burnt the shit out of it. And then tried to drink it. Which sucks because I bought a Keurig. That's the thing that sucks. I bought a Keurig. It's right there. Like I here. Let me see if I can what did I just do? I thought I cut to my webcam. Here. It's literally that white thing right here. Next to the purple sheet.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my Keurig. I paid like $150 for that thing and it fucking sucks. I have to like drown my coffee in creamer.
So it doesn't matter what kind of coffee you put in it?
No, because it all tastes like burnt trash. It's so bad. The only thing I use it for now is because even the little hot chocolate K-cups suck. But like if I make tea, I don't put a K-cup in it. I just let the hot water go into the cup because I have a tea bag in it. Or if I want, I have these chai latte K-cups. Those are really good. Surprisingly, those are good. Those are good for like a sore throat if you're sick. Put a little bit of honey in it, and get the chai tea in it.
That reminds me, at Starbucks, we had this drink. It was like mixed with tea and lemonade. It was called the honey citrus mint tea or the medicine ball.
Yeah,
it's also known by. Yeah, well, it was supposed to like help you when you're sick. And I was kind of a little skeptical because I'm like, it's just like lemonade, and I mean, I know people say tea has like properties to it, make you feel better. But I'm like, it's just Starbucks. And sure enough, I looked it up, and it's like it has absolutely like no medicinal value. And it's like the urge for me to tell that to customers was like unreal. like
You were like,
like
I'm trying to
holding my
lose my job today, dog.
yeah, like I was just like holding back because people would ask me that directly, like,
Yeah.
is this gonna make me feel better? I'm feeling sick, and I'm just like, yes.
The number one thing to feel better when you have a sore throat is honey and one of those like cold PMTs and maybe even throat coat because those will open up your throat and make it feel better. Now, I was drinking it thinking, oh, it'll make me feel better, and nothing was happening. And I was like, what's going on this time? Why isn't it working? It's because I had strep. And that shit
Yeah.
does not go away with tea alone. I had to get like antibiotics and stuff. But
I honestly cannot remember the. Wait, I was saying something. I got distracted by a news headline. After whites only party of Russia's and Ukrainians told to leave Sri Lanka. Okay, that's crazy. But
what
anyway,
the
T. I don't know. Apparently, Sri Lanka had some kind of like whites only political party, and they got told to fuck off. I guess that's
Wow.
good. There's something positive. Um, we told the Nazis to go fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah, we doesn't
Let me
Germany do that like
derail.
on a yearly basis? Some Nazi
Yeah,
adjacent party tries to form and then Germany's like, no.
yeah. I'll give them that. I mean, they're definitely tougher on that stuff than we are.
Well, yeah, because they don't have First Amendment freedoms like we do.
Yeah, I was gonna
Here
say
it's
maybe.
illegal.
Yeah, might run into some issues there, but I had an idea for something different we could do that does involve stuff that I'm doing. Um, I don't know if it's too late to do it now because we're already like an hour in. But
I don't mind.
so I told you how I'm working on this like the sci-fi universe
Yeah.
for like a story that I eventually want to tell, and I was really thinking we could just have like sessions where we just kind of spitball and like get creative and I guess just come up with stuff for that because I've had all these iterations of something that I'll try and make. I have this one. I've been trying to. You see this hair? I've been trying to fix this the whole stream. It keeps coming out, and I look ridiculous.
That's what
But
makes us the perfect curly haired people. We
oh
all have
yeah,
that one hair. Like all of this, I have to like shove into the headphone or else it'll just be in my face the entire
mm-hmm.
time. Like here, let me show you. If I don't fix this, it'll
Oh yeah.
literally just start slowly coming down like this.
I was gonna say, dude, mine's like twice as long as yours. It's like way worse for me. I have to have it up like all the time. I think you got a ghost in your room or something. Somebody just closed the door.
No, it's the window's open and it's really stormy here, so it pushes the air pressure out and shuts the door.
Wait, is your window? Wait. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Wait a minute, Dane. I see that sunlight coming from your window.
Yo, I'm trying to investigate some shit.
Invest-
Yo,
Investigate what?
I'm doing what you just did, where you're like looking deep into my camera. Yo,
Oh,
that door just closed back there. What's going on with that?
see that sunlight coming out of your window.
Yo, I see what
It's
you got
not
going on
storming.
there. No, it's pretty stormy outside right now, and the wind is blowing pretty
Oh, is
hard.
it actually?
Yeah, we're in the middle of the jet stream right now. So
Really?
yeah, so right now it's like that's why Illinois just had a bunch of tornadoes like 3 nights ago because the jet stream right now is going like this, right up on Illinois, so it's causing a bunch of tornadoes, and we're in the downward part of it.
Well, isn't Tornado Alley literally like moving?
Tornado Alley
I
is
think.
all of the Midwest, and then we're Dixie Alley.
Well, I
So
saw some. I saw some reports on it of. Well, I guess if we're Dixie Alley, I guess you could. I guess that might be its own thing, but people are talking about Tornado Alley like sliding south. It's like all the tornadoes are going down here. I guess I don't know what's going on.
well, Dixie Alley has a consistent all year round tornado season, that gets worse during this time of the year, while Tornado Alley only has major tornadoes in the first half of the year, and not really many in the second half. But they just have more devastating ones. We have more consistent like EF 3s and 2s with occasional 4s, but they're all year round. Tornado Alley has like 4s and 5s far more often, but only during certain parts of the year.
Do we know what EF rating was the one that hit our hometown?
EF4.
Is there a way we can...
Yeah, without saying the
What?
name of it, it was an EF4.
Damn.
Yeah. Which our
That's the only
insurance
reason
company tried to be like, oh, it's just a little gust of wind. We don't have to fix your roof. Remember everybody else in our neighborhood getting their roof fixed at the same time by their home insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember how we had a tarp on our roof for like a year because our insurance was like, no, it's just a little gust of wind. It's like, then why is everybody else around here getting their roof replaced?
Insurance companies when they have to cover things for people.
Me when I pay the insurance company to do their job and then they don't do their job and then I question why I'm paying them in the first place.
Yeah. Minimum capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were really lucky. Like that could have flattened the whole neighborhood basically.
It almost
I think
did.
it was because it touched down. I was thinking because it touched down in the trees, so that I guess kind of broke it up a little bit.
So here's what it did. It hit the downtown area, then it kept going and ripped through a lot of that area, and then it jumped the interstate and like grew in size while it was doing that.
I remember. Okay,
and then it
that's
came
what happened
towards
because
us.
I remember. Yeah.
And it got more powerful, and then once it ripped through us in the next few neighborhoods, it weakened enough where when it hit, I can say it, when it hit that city and the city next to it, then then it ended up being way weaker, so it didn't devastate as much.
I remember because I was always confused when people said it jumped the highway because people were saying there was two. So I guess when that happened, people thought it was like a second tornado or something because I was always like, where was the other one?
Yeah. Also, when I go back in the edit for this, I'm gonna have to censor that. Or I said the name of the city. Yeah. Fuck. I do that too much.
Yeah. But, I have to remember, like, I'm on a stream. I don't want to out on my personal information.
I fuck it up sometimes, but usually only when I'm recording. So this is my first live fuck up.
Can you pull up the clip of my name is Walter Hardwell White. I live on.
Yeah, me as soon as I go live, my name is Walter Hardwell White. I live it.
I gotta memorize that for the bit. That little.
Hi, my name is blah blah blink, and I live at 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue.
That show was really good. Have you actually ever seen Breaking Bad?
Bits and pieces.
Memes aside, it's actually really good. I committed the sin of starting it with my friend, and then he was like, "All right, we're gonna come back tomorrow and watch the next episode." And then I come back and I'm on like a different season. Don't ever watch a TV show with me, because if I like it, I'm gone.
I've done that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only full episode of Breaking Bad I've ever watched is the Fly episode. When the Fly gets into the meth lab that Gus gives them. You remember that?
Sorry, I got distracted. What?
Do you remember the episode of Breaking Bad where the whole episode is centered around the fact that a fly got into the lab? And they spend the whole episode trying to kill it?
I should probably rewatch that show because there was a lot that I don't remember.
It's the only episode I've seen in full. Like,
did you like it?
Yeah, I did. But I already know what happens in the show. I already know all the major plot points and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of so ubiquitous. It's like, how do you avoid?
I've watched clips. I just watch the clips. It's the Gen Z way of watching an old show. You just watch a bunch of broken up clips and you piece it together. And then you watch clips of Better Call Saul. Yeah. This is the moment when Walter White became Walter White. Like that meme.
Dude, I've noticed with like kind of TikTok and like shorts. It's like like the urge to put like Sigma edit music over everything. It's like it's really getting on my nerves, bro.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like all I want to do is watch a movie clip or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
while we were talking about Texas, did you hear about this wildfire?
no.
I think it's still going on. It's the second the second largest wildfire in Texas history. Damaged more than 900,000. Oh well, over 1 million acres now, and it's only 5% contained. Oh my god.
Where is it?
Um, Let me see. Uh, the name of the fire is called the Smokehouse Creek Fire. I don't know if that's named after where it started. Oh my god, it's spreading into Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
That's bad. I want to see if I can find pictures of this. Hang on.
It's on the Texas Panhandle, like
It's
exclusively.
funny because I don't even know what part of Texas that is.
It's the top. You know how Texas looks like this?
Yeah.
It's on this part.
Okay.
All right.
Evidence. Oh,
Yeah.
I see it. I'm gonna have to hang on. Let me see if I can find some pictures. Well, it's funny because when I was on my way here, I saw a bunch of it looked like a bunch of like burnt land,
Was
and
the
we did
sky
drive down.
orange?
No, but we did see a lot of smoke. But it's
So,
like I don't know what was going on. I don't
see,
think I saw that wildfire though, because we came in from the north, so we might have
so usually if you see
gone through
burnt
part of it.
land like that, it's a controlled forest fire where they
I
burn all the
thought that
brush.
too.
Because we
I thought
recently
that too.
we recently went on a hike, and a lot of the trail on the right side of the national forest we were in, or in the state park that we were in, a
Mhm.
lot of it was control burned, so it smelled like smoke and the ground was black. But
Yeah, well, I thought that too, maybe because it was around like some hunting grounds that we drove through.
yeah,
So
beep.
long way out here.
Beep, beep. Meow.
Glad we didn't have any assholes on motorcycles coming in. Glad I really like fans because I usually keep my fans so loud in my room that I can't hear any of it anyway.
Yeah,
Checks out.
here you go. I'll pull it up on the screen for you. That's from
No fire
today.
conditions.
That's at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Eastern time.
The dark orange is the area of effect. Is that the fire or is that just the risk assessment?
This is the risk assessment.
Mm.
But this is from 5:48 in the morning Central Time. So I'm sure it's
That's a
gotten
lot.
worse.
Are those blocks counties or
I think it's just the coordinates.
just the?
Or is it? Because these blocks are bigger.
I
So
don't know. I know out in the South and the Midwest, everything just turns into blocks.
yeah, because they kind of give up after the colony thing.
They gave up on that on districting and everything.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like Georgia looks all messed up, and then you look at Texas, and it's like 2 blocks with a weird, funky thing on the end of it.
You know, like if I lived in one, if I lived in I don't know, isn't Colorado like block shaped?
Colorado, I believe, is quite literally just a square.
It's like I wouldn't even be if I lived there, I wouldn't even be able to find it on a map.
Yeah.
I don't know what I
Wyoming
would
is a
do.
perfect rectangle.
Really?
Yeah. You notice how all the states out west are like bigger?
Yeah.
Because they were all territories, so they were like, oh, fuck it, just make it a state. But there's like no one living there.
Oh yeah, that didn't even hit me.
Yeah. It's just there's like nobody there.
Yeah. I think it's gotta be just because it's not near the coast, right?
I guess. I mean, well,
Because I mean,
with the colonies and the original 13 states, they look all weird because they were already drawn up as colonies.
yeah.
So there wasn't much of an option.
Well, I'm just yeah. Well, I'm thinking about like like the industry and stuff. Like when we drove through Alabama, and it's like there's so much industry there.
Yeah.
It's like, how is this like the poorest state? I think it is the poorest state, right? Or is that Mississippi or Louisiana? I don't
I
remember which one.
believe Mississippi is the poorest state.
Yeah, it looked like a ton of like steel and mining. I
Yeah.
don't know. They stay broke. Probably that IFV ruling.
The IVF.
Probably the massive brain drain because Republicans are like turning into a shithole. Like everyone with a brain is leaving.
uh,
That's actually a problem though. Like I'm not kidding. Like there's literally like a brain drain problem, and in Florida, some states like that, it's like they don't know what to do because all the smart people are leaving. I wonder where they're going though.
trying to look and see if there's any updates, but of course the National Weather Service is 5 years behind on any current
Yeah.
information.
Well, let me see if I can find a map. Smokehouse Creek fire map.
Texas Division of Emergency Management. Let's see if they got anything.
Oh, I see it.
3 hours ago from the Texas A&M Forest Service, potential for wildfire activity will increase again for the Plains region
Yeah,
this
and they said
weekend.
it's literally only 5% contained.
Jesus.
That's climate change for you.
Yeah. It's also inefficiency of government agencies for you.
Yeah.
Let's not give any money to these guys, and then we have them fight one of the deadliest forest fires we've had in state history. And in
We
fact,
gotta keep funding ICE, Dane.
in fact, it's actually the largest wildfire in state history. So,
Oh yeah, for a while it was
dude,
just a second. I was gonna
you made
say
it there
it might be
just in time.
Yay.
Woo! I made it to the biggest wildfire.
I should go there just for the bid, I guess.
Do you want to see a picture from the 28th of
Sure.
some of the damage from just Thursday or Wednesday? I mean,
Sure. Wow.
looks
Yeah,
like
I
a
know it rolled through
hangar.
like entire neighborhoods.
Yeah,
That's insane. Can we talk about like American infrastructure? Like
and how garbage it
I
is.
came I came halfway around. Well, for me I'm just like that too, but I'm just thinking of like the city planning element.
Yeah,
And like just everything just being like restaurants and stuff like this. Like I'm halfway across the country, but I still feel like I never went anywhere.
yeah.
Like there's still a fucking CVS on the corner next to the Waffle House. Like
I
everything's
I used to be a huge interstate nerd, where I studied how the interstate, like how it's numbered, how it worked, how it was built. And
Mhm.
if you're wondering how it's numbered in a very specific way. Where
Really.
if it's running this way, it'll be an even number. If it's running this way, it'll be an odd number.
Oh,
And it goes bottom to top. It goes uh, like 10 to 90 or something like that, bottom to top. And it goes like 5 to 95 left to right. And
let me know what you let me know what you think about this. Um, when we're talking about like the planning of America and stuff, I'm tempted to think that America's planned so poorly just because when you look at like Europe, they had like thousands of years to kind of evolve and
yeah,
plan like organically, and obviously with America, they just came in and kicked everybody out.
it was a rush job.
People who already lived there. Do what?
It was like a rush job.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's almost kind of what I was thinking about why it's so like terribly planned.
So
But I don't know.
one of the things is that, like, so for instance, interstate highways, those were created when Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. So that's less than 100 years ago. And
Yeah.
so what had to happen was that the reason why they look so weird and not just like straight lines is because people are living in those areas. So a lot of eminent domain, a lot of stuff like that, where Like, for instance, this was during the Jim Crow era, so there was a lot of racism involved. There's entire neighborhoods in like New York and in the South and in other places where, oh, you're a black neighborhood, we're just going to bulldoze straight through your neighborhood to build this interstate. And
Oh yeah.
so it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like, with eminent domain, you have to convince all these people that the government needs this land, will pay you equivalent to what it would cost to sell your land.
Hmm.
Um, if you give it to us to build these federal projects, and so that's why you'll see um, like you'll see a neighborhood with this one guy in the middle of it with all this land with his house on it, but he's surrounded by a suburban neighborhood. It's because he refused to give up his land. And you'll see highways that had to like build bridges over people and had to build around them. Well, with black communities, a lot of the time they would just rip straight through them. And
Hmm. Well, maybe
so
I understand. Maybe I misunderstood eminent domain because I thought you couldn't refuse.
I believe you can legally challenge it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe you can
Yeah, because
challenge
I
the
thought it was.
validity of the government's necessity for that land. So, like the eminent domain we use to tear out Hartsfield Jackson Airport, like to make room
Yeah.
for that. Um, we used eminent domain for that, and so I believe you can legally challenge the validity of the government's need for that area. But a lot of the time you'll lose those cases because it's the government ruling in favor of itself. It's like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Um,
Good
it
luck.
it's like we
With
need
it.
this big ass airport. It's like, well, you can't really argue against that because the government is going to want the airport no matter what. Either they build it around
They're
you,
gonna
yeah, either they build it
Mhm.
around you or they build it over you. It's like it's not going to matter. And plus, usually it doesn't make any sense to refuse it either, because the financial incentive outweighs a lot of the
Yeah.
time the land incentive for you to keep that property. You usually make a lot more money just giving them the land than you will staying there.
Well, I was gonna say, and I guess this depends on if you're black or white. But I was gonna say, do they actually pay you the amount of like that your land is worth?
Most of the
So I know you're
time,
talking
yeah.
about. So I know if you were talking about if they're a black neighborhood in the 40s or something, they'll just steamroll right
Uh,
through it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they'll. Well, eminent domain is used so sparingly that like it's only really used for road projects, for airports, stadiums, big shit. Nothing like if they want like a city hall building, they're just gonna buy a building nearby and convert it to a government building. They're
Make
not
it
gonna
into a.
they're not gonna go through the trouble of spending a quarter of $1 billion on uprooting this entire community because they want to build like a tax building. It's just not worth it. So they use eminent domain very sparingly. But like in terms of the interstate system, the in terms of like airports and other projects that may be somewhat privately owned but are for public consumption, they'll use eminent domain. But that's why America looks so fucked because it's like stuff was already
Yeah.
here. We have a lot more terrain diversity than Europe has. Europe is very flat in a lot of
Yeah.
areas. America is very mountainous, hilly. The native communities that already lived here when we got here. It's a whole lot of stuff. Like colonies look the way they did based on the way that their charters were written up. Alabama and Mississippi look the way they do because of the way that the land treaty was signed with the Native Americans, where they gave up these regions, and Georgia was one massive like super colony, and then the federal law split it into three separate states, and so that's why Mississippi and Alabama look the way that they do.
I
Um,
was wondering about that because I was like, it all kind of looks like pieces of the same shape.
yeah, here, let me see if I
Yeah,
can look
I
it up.
was wondering. I was wondering about that.
Let me see if I can look it up.
Yeah,
Um,
super
yeah,
Alabama.
super Alabama. Wonder if I typed that in correctly to look this up. I'm just getting on a bunch of football stuff. If you look at
And,
really old maps, you'll see see that Georgia was Alabama and Mississippi at one point. I think what it was split up by the Louisiana, like the Appalachian line of like the
Mhm.
colonists can't go farther than this line.
Oh yeah, they can't go. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I remember that in ninth grade history class.
here, can you still see my? Yeah, you can. So here's pretty much the Carolina charter is what this looked like.
Oh,
Yeah. The states used to
wait,
be way bigger, but
why? I don't get. I'll have to. I guess I just don't know enough about the charter itself, like the
so
conditions around it.
it's a lot of charters with governors that were from the British Empire that owned these colonies that would sign these charters with sign under a lot of coercion these charters with or under false pretenses with
Mm-hmm.
these native communities, and they would get all this land, and then when England made its whole you can't go past the Appalachian Mountains charter that it did, then it essentially became this because the Appalachian Mountains passed through here on this line. So when you couldn't go any farther west, then it broke all these states apart. And then later, when we became a country, we would kind of create the borders for these places. It's all around like old lines drawn by the British Empire and the native
By
communities and all
people who'd
that.
never even been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the reason why America looks so fucked, especially on the eastern part of the country. Once you go farther out west, a lot of those areas were kind of colonized and turned into territories in a lot more of an even way, where you can tell what was won from Mexico and what wasn't.
Oh
Because
yeah.
like I said before, Wyoming is just a box, while Texas is like this weird hand looking thing that looks like this pretty much.
I
And
was
like
gonna say they used to own basically all of Texas, and
yeah, and like
well, they used
Oklahoma
to own
looks the way
everything.
it does because of slavery, where it has that little like weird handle and it looks like a pot. The handle part is because of slavery.
Wait, what's the deal with that?
So Oklahoma has a panhandle because of the way that I it's hard for me to recall all this information without a source in front of me, but um slavery
I'm looking
line.
it up. But you can keep
It's
saying.
the 3630 line pretty much determined that there had to be a part of Oklahoma that was slave free. It was a free state pretty much,
Hmm.
called no man's land. And so no one could legally own land in that strip of Oklahoma. And
Right.
it's all from like the Kansas Nebraska Act and the Missouri Compromise. It's all carved out because of that. Um,
Well, that makes me wonder if the Texas Panhandle was a similar thing.
I think it's just because of the way that Mexico owned the land, and then it got divvied up amongst people when we took it over.
Mm.
But yeah, that's why Europe looks the way it does versus the way America looks, where America's like very not planned out and very like half-assed.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say like with Europe, the roads are strictly like transits, but they're almost kind of like railways, and that they're just like these transit links between larger cities and stuff. And like when we pave a road, we just slap down every any building along the road and parking lots and everything that just anything we can fit.
yeah.
You know, so but yeah, like I said, it's like I'm halfway across the country, and I feel like I'm in the same place. It's like even when we were driving through the South, it kind of all
Yeah.
just blends together.
Dude, the South looks like shit.
I mean, there are definitely more interesting areas. Like basically the entirety of Louisiana that we drove through. It was just like a boring, flat nightmare.
Yeah.
But
So
pretty.
I brought up
Mhm.
interstates because Texas has a very unique. So the way that interstates were built is that the federal government had a certain amount of money for the interstates, and they would divvy it amongst the states based on what they needed to build these
Yeah.
interstate systems. but they're federally funded, state controlled interstate roads. And if they went beyond their budget per state, then that's why like toll roads would exist, or your taxes would go towards expanding it and stuff like that.
Paving the roads. Yeah.
Yeah. So Texas has a system where I'm sure you might have seen it by now, where if you're on the interstate and you get off on an exit, there's these weird roads that are like parallel with it that all kind of connect to each exit. Like if you're in like the industrial like Strode area of Texas where there's like restaurants everywhere.
That's the word, Strode.
Yeah, where there's like roads parallel to the interstate that act as like exit access roads. It's this really bizarre thing that makes Texas unique from the rest of the interstate system.
I saw a couple of places like that, and I was wondering what was up with that.
Yeah. It's like a Texas-specific thing. You won't really see that anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, I can't even be sure that it's like when you pay the toll road is the money even going to the right place?
Yeah. Have you noticed how in a lot of southern states, especially across I-20, that when you exit Georgia, it becomes a two-lane road?
I don't think I consciously noticed that. But.
So a lot of the interstates across the Bible Belt were, let's just say that the funding didn't necessarily reach the interstate program a lot of the time. So the bare minimum to qualify as a federal interstate is you have to be a 2-lane on each side road with a high speed limit and exits. So the reason why when you're in Georgia on I-20, a lot of the interstate are like 3 or 4 lanes because it's very well funded to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
And also the interstate is built in blocks. That's why you'll hear like the as you're driving.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you get to Alabama, it's just a paved concrete road like any other road. And it's 2 lanes wide. Some parts are 3 lanes when you're heading towards Birmingham, but a lot of it is just 2 lanes. It's because it's like the bare minimum for an interstate you could build. And it's paved like a normal road.
Yeah. And even then, like, that's embarrassing. But I was thinking about, when you were talking about like divvying it up based on what each state needs, it's like it kind of makes sense that like the interstates in, I don't know, like Florida or Georgia, would be a lot, more up to snuff than Alabama.
Yeah.
But then again, when you get over to like Louisiana, it's like a 2-lane road's all you need because nobody lives there. So, but at least don't pave it like a normal road, I guess.
But yes, that's why interstates are the way that they are. Little history lesson from this moron over here that is like autistic levels of obsessed with interstate highway systems,
with roads and roads. No, I remember that.
What?
Hmm? Well, I remember I saw. I don't remember what YouTube channel it was, but that's really I saw this video about Strodes.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
If you're into that stuff, I wonder if you've seen the video that I've seen. I'll have to find it. I'll send it to you. But that really kind of opened my eyes to just what we could have instead of, what we do in terms of infrastructure.
Is the guy hosting it a guy in like an orange high-vis jacket, just walking on the sidewalk talking about it?
Well, I didn't. It was just one of those like video essay type things, so I didn't like see the guy who was commentating. But I'll find that. Tell you what, let me just look right now.
There's a guy that goes out onto the roads themselves with like a high-vis jacket on and talks about it on the actual road. But
the channel that I'm looking at is called Not Just Bikes. It's a pretty big video. It got 7 million views. But I mean, the thumbnail just tells you everything you know. Like everywhere, it's just a bunch of signs with corporate logos on them.
Yeah, I've seen this guy.
Eventually, it all just kind of blends together.
He makes videos about one more lane and like all that stuff. Yeah, no, I've watched him before. It's where I learned about the Strode stuff and how like
Oh yeah,
how like
he
intersections
still
work.
does. Well, he has a couple videos of like the best planned areas. Doesn't say what it is.
Yeah, here, Strodes are ugly, expensive, and dangerous, and they're everywhere. That's the video that I watched
Yeah.
about Strodes. It's his most popular one.
I'm wondering, like, I assume just because they're just not efficient, but I wonder what about it makes it like expensive,
What
if you
Strodes?
know. Yeah, because I mean, I imagine it's just because they're not efficient and you know, you're
Yeah,
not exactly saving money planning stuff like that. But I'm wondering what about it's actually expensive to maintain.
city planning, and it's made with bad material, so it ends up causing like potholes and stuff like that all the time, and
Oh.
people drive on it a lot. You also have to install traffic lights every like 15 feet. That's the other thing is like traffic circles are far more safe and less expensive. So the upkeep is like keeping up with traffic lights because they break a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So maintenance on those, maintenance on the pressure plates that go into each intersection to tell the light when to turn green, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a really expensive endeavor for not a very good payout. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another thing about the interstates, I was gonna say, here's how deep I am into it. You know how there's interstates like 285, the Atlanta bypass interstate that goes around it.
Yeah.
And then there's also something called 185, which is on the southern part of I-85, which leads you to like Pine Mountain and all those places, like Great Wolf Lodge and Lagrange. Um, so the number when it's a 3-digit highway, the first number tells you whether or not it loops back on itself, and the second number is what interstate it's branching off of. So 285 branches off of 85 and eventually meets back up with 85 at some point.
Oh,
So that's what
okay.
that's what the 2 is for. 185 branches off of I-85 and just ends. It never comes back. That's what the 1 is
Mm-hmm.
for. It doesn't loop back to itself at all. But the 85 in both of those numbers is because it branches off of I-85.
That's
So
really interesting.
that's why
I
it's numbered
figured
like that.
I figured they had some kind of naming convention
Yeah.
for it because obviously, plenty of cities have like streets and avenues
Yeah.
and stuff.
So
I really thought it was just. I mean,
yeah.
I never really thought about it, but I really just thought it was like consecutive of like which ones they built first. I'm gonna say they built 285 of them.
So then that brings up why isn't there a 275? Because the bypass also connects to I-75. Well,
Yeah.
in Florida, 275 splits off of I-75, goes through Tampa, goes through St. Petersburg, all those places, then loops back to I-75 farther down the peninsula. That's
Mm.
why there's a 275 in Florida and a 285 in Georgia. So like that one loops. It's basically like a bypass that loops through the islands off the coast and then back into itself. It's where the Sunshine
Oh.
Skyway Bridge passes, all that stuff.
Hmm.
See how
That's
deep into it
interesting.
I am?
Yeah. I'm on board with it though. I like talk. That'll actually probably help me navigate when I'm driving better, if anything.
It kind of does. Like I-20 goes west to east, east to west. It's horizontal, so it passes through
Yeah.
the city and everything. But it kind of helps you like understand. Like I-10 goes along the panhandle of Florida and through the top part, like Tallahassee and Panama City Beach and all that. It kind of helps you
Yeah.
understand what's like where is what. Like 85
Yeah.
goes all the way up the east and ends in Virginia, I think, or Pennsylvania, and then I-95 starts in Pennsylvania and goes up.
Yeah. And anything that can help me make sense of the nightmare that is American roads.
Yeah.
I'll take any of that.
So then I-85 goes south into Montgomery, I believe, and then turns into I-65.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how much I know about all this, because it's like nice to
Yeah.
know when you're going somewhere where what leads.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get into that more.
I
This
don't.
dude is still calling me. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember why I looked all this stuff up. By the way, Like I don't remember what
I'm
started
just
this.
I'm just always looking up random shit. But this dude is still calling me. I told you at the beginning of my like virus protection guy. He was
Yeah.
from McAfee. I don't know what happened. I remember this was in the headlines months ago. What happened with the McAfee guy being like found dead in a prison in Spain or something?
Uh
Did you hear about that?
so that guy has so much lore. He
Really?
he lived on a
I bet there was.
compound. He lived on a compound in South America. He allegedly was committing a lot of horrific crimes. But that's not like a major part of his story, but it's definitely one of the sore points of it. Um
Yeah.
he kept saying, if you see where I've committed suicide, I didn't. Like basically after Epstein died, he kept saying that.
What?
And then
So it
eventually
was like
he was
trafficking, like human trafficking, or like
like kind of like a slave situation. He had like
oh,
embedded himself into this local community. He was nuts,
wow.
by the way. He
Yeah,
he was found dead, but like it was after he had basically said, if it looks like I committed suicide, I didn't. Like an Epstein
that's insane.
situation.
I knew there was a lot of lore to that.
Yeah,
Um,
he's nuts.
yeah, but it was kind of scary because when that guy was working on when he was trying to diagnose what was wrong with my computer, um, I mean, granted, we had to go through like, to give him permission and stuff, but he was basically like using my computer
Oh,
remotely.
team viewer and stuff like that.
Yeah, something. It was called something like that. It was kind of terrifying. He basically just like hijacked my computer
You got to
and
uninstall that.
oh yeah, I did. I actually, now that I'm talking about it and slightly paranoid about it, I should probably make sure that I did. I'm like, well, because he told me to uninstall it after, so I'm sure I was like, yeah. But now that I think about it, even just the thought of having a program on my computer to where somebody could just hijack it
He said it's a
makes
guy
me.
from an antivirus software. Hold on, I can't hear you anymore. Hold on, let me see if. Are you speaking? Oh shit. I think you deactivated your mic. Check and see if your mic is still the internal one. Or maybe leave the call and rejoin it. Oh my god. That's so funny. You there?
How about now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I opened my task manager. Bet that was it.
Maybe.
As I hit Control Alt Delete. I don't know why I did that, but I was gonna open my task manager to see if I could
Here,
find that.
turn your webcam back on and I'll help you uninstall it if you need to check.
Well, I think I know. Don't you just go to Control Panel and it should be there?
Yeah, control
Because it
panel,
shouldn't be
programs and
there.
features. Yeah, if it's not there, then it should be fine.
Yeah, I just made myself paranoid about it. Um, programs and features. Oh,
Yeah, here, let me look.
okay. Uninstall program. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we should be good.
Yeah,
I should probably get rid of.
huh?
Say what? Oh,
What
I
were
was
you
just
saying?
saying I should probably get rid of Overwolf and RSI launcher. So I have all these like launchers from games that I never played. I wonder if I can still refund Star Citizen through the RSI launcher.
How long has it been since you bought it?
Oh God, like a year. I bought it to play with one of my old friends. Um, and I played it for like 5 seconds, and I was like, "This isn't really a game." Like you walk around and do stuff, but I don't know. It just felt like really unpolished, and it also barely ran on my laptop. I don't know what I was thinking.
I felt
Get rid
that.
of
I
that.
wish I could get a refund on Need for Speed because that game was broken the moment I installed it.
What was wrong with it?
It stuck me in some weird thing where I could only see behind me
Mm-hmm.
and
That's
I
weird.
couldn't do anything on there. other than just drive while facing the wrong direction. And everyone on the subreddit was like, just uninstall the game and reinstall it. And I was like, that game was like 70 fucking gigabytes. Hell no, I'm not going to reinstall it. So I just deleted it off my computer. But I only played it for like 30 minutes. But I had already owned it for like 5 months at that point. And I'm pretty sure I was outside the return window.
Yeah, I know. At least with Steam, I think what is it like a 2-hour limit or something?
Something like that. But
That
like,
doesn't feel generous enough.
well, like if
At
you
least
own
to
it
me.
for if you own it for longer than a certain amount of time, that also applies.
Mm.
So I think I've already owned it for too long.
Yeah, I probably have too. I forgot that I just had it. Forgot that I just had it sitting on my computer.
I'm trying to
That's
look up
probably why.
what?
Do what? I was just saying that's probably why my computer's having problems because I have a bunch of shit sitting on it that I need to get rid of.
Yeah.
Clear some of this stuff.
See if the Weather Channel's talking about Texas. Doesn't look like it.
They're not talking about it?
Doesn't look like it. Here, can you see this? They're just talking about New York. It's an ad for dishwashing soap.
I was gonna see. I just see an ad for dishwashing soap.
Yeah, doesn't look like they're
You
talking
on
about it right now.
you on YouTube?
No, I'm on a news website.
Oh, I just get everything off YouTube, so that I don't have to pay for more than one subscription.
Dude, YouTube Premium is outrageously expensive. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've just been sucking it up because it's like I got the taste of not being bombarded by ads every 5 seconds, and it's like I just couldn't give it up, man.
Here, let me look into this because it's they increased the price and then I guess for me it would be $9.99 a month because I'm grandfathered in. But the new membership is
Mine's like
$13.99 a
third.
month.
I was gonna say mine. I remember when I got billed, mine was $13.99.
Well, I had YouTube Premium back in 2018. So I'm grandfathered into the old system. But I was talking about it on an old, not an old episode, but an episode from a while back about how the benefits are dog shit for the price. Cuz here
Yeah.
I'll pull it up for you to see. It's like so it's $14 a month. All you get is ad-free. Okay. Yeah, not bad. Ad-free. Download videos
Mhm.
offline, which is pretty much useless to anyone with an unlimited data plan. Background
Yeah.
play, which you already get background play, by the way, on like every phone, including iPhone. The only benefit to
Mhm.
that is being able to shut your screen off, which, if you're listening to a podcast, you just go listen to it on another app at that point.
Yeah. Well, even with the download videos, it's like literally the only time when I can think when that would be useful is like if you're on a plane and you can't use the Wi-Fi or something.
I guess, yeah. But how often are you on a plane?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it would literally only be useful then.
So then you get ad-free YouTube music, which I would argue at this point most people already have a music app. And I've always said
Mhm.
that if you get YouTube Music, you practically have to use a new account because my account is so old. Some of my music that's on YouTube Music are like old videos I liked when I was 15 years old. It's like that's how far back
Yeah.
it goes. Um, but yeah,
Well,
so
so you said like I never really got it for like the other benefits. I just didn't want ads, but like you were saying they were shit. So like what should we be expecting in terms of like benefits?
back when YouTube Premium, formerly YouTube Red, was uh like $10 a month, you got ad free, the background play, which wasn't really a thing on iPhones at the time. You still got YouTube Music
Mhm.
because YouTube Music did exist at the time, and You also got YouTube Red originals, shows that they would make with the money from YouTube Red and Premium,
Oh yeah.
and they don't have that
I remember
anymore.
it.
All those YouTube originals are free to watch, whether you have a YouTube membership or not.
Damn.
So, because the reason why I used to have YouTube Premium is because of the downloads, because I didn't have unlimited data, and because of
Mhm.
Vsauce Minefield, which was a YouTube Red original. So that's why,
Minefield.
yeah, it was like a show that Vsauce made. So
Hmm.
that's why I had YouTube Red and Premium, because I got like paywalled shows. But they don't do that anymore. Now the price is $4 more for way less.
Yeah.
What they should do is you get the same thing that Twitch Prime has, where you get one free Twitch Prime subscription, or YouTube membership subscription. You get one free for that. I don't know,
Hmm.
throw in some perks or something, like an animated profile picture or some crap like Discord has. I just feel
Yeah.
like they could do so much more with it.
Well, they could.
That was kind of
They
my
could.
argument back then.
They could theoretically try to make it more competitive. I don't think they get that. Like, doing giving you more benefits for less, like, legitimately makes it more competitive. You
That,
know.
and maybe throw in like one or two YouTube TV channels of your choosing,
Mhm.
but you only get like two.
Yeah.
And you have to pick them at the beginning of the month, and every quarter you can change them. Like, have certain things in place.
What does YouTube really compete with? Because they're not like,
No
I
one.
guess. Well, I was gonna say, I guess maybe Twitch, because I mean they both do like streaming and.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've never used Twitch, so I don't even know like what to expect.
So in the live streaming space, Twitch is definitely their competitor because it's owned by Amazon, and it's like one of the biggest live streaming services out there. In
Yeah.
terms of video platforms, I would argue maybe Rumble, but I don't think a lot of people really use Rumble to justify that. I think YouTube still
Yeah.
goes pretty unopposed. I would say mostly Twitch in the live streaming part. But Twitch right now is kind of falling off. Like, you know how many Twitch streamers have gone
Heard.
over to YouTube? A lot of Twitch
Well, what's
streamers.
happening with that? Because I've heard they have been kind of falling off.
So the new Twitch contracts with their top creators are like 50-50 splits instead of the old like 70-30. With it
Hmm.
when like Twitch takes like 30%, you get 70. Now it's more like 50-50 if you're like a full-blown Twitch exclusive. And now
Mm.
they're negotiating into their contracts that they can simulcast on YouTube. So they will
Yeah.
Twitch stream and YouTube stream at the same time, and they'll also be able to stream on TikTok at the same time. And
Hmm.
it's just Twitch like losing a lot of viewership. YouTube is easier to access live streams on because
You
more
just click
most
on it.
yeah, most people already have YouTube to watch videos. Twitch is exclusively live streaming, so it makes it harder to justify having a whole app on your phone for just watching live streams. Not a lot of people have
Yeah.
time for that. So if you're streaming on YouTube, you could just casually watch it on YouTube if you're already on there. Or when the
Hmm.
stream is over, the video's already on YouTube. Like, we're live on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
So
I
I
was
don't.
I was thinking that I was thinking like I was saying about being more competitive. I almost think to the point where you beat your competitors. It's like that's the part where you just stop giving a shit because it's like you're basically guaranteed revenue, and so it's like you don't even have to offer like better services or anything like that because you've kind of beaten your competition at that point.
Yeah.
Dare I say, monopolized?
They've gone
Yeah.
unopposed. Vimeo, Dailymotion, all of those have kind of failed. I would say
Yeah.
so. I would actually amend what I said. I think YouTube has two major competitors that have nothing to do with the video uploading part. Um, Live
Daily Motion
streaming,
is weird.
it is weird. If you
Yeah.
want an illegal TV show rip, you pretty much go to
Yeah.
Dailymotion.
Yeah, Daily Motion. It's like a weird mix between YouTube and like a news site. I
Yeah.
guess. Like I don't know what they're trying to do there.
So I would say that on the live streaming front, Twitch is definitely competing with YouTube, which is why on YouTube, in recent months we've gotten the ability to see chat logs. We now have more moderating ability with YouTube. The encoding quality has gotten slightly better. Stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we have YouTube memberships, super chats, all that stuff.
Now I got shorts.
So that's the
Shorts
other
and
thing is that
TikTok.
they're competing with TikTok and Instagram Reels
Mm-hmm.
with shorts. So I would say YouTube Shorts used to be pretty busted. Like you could upload a short and it would get like 4,000 views in a day. My most popular short is like a random shit post short that I made before I came back to making videos. I just decided to upload a video of my face with the Among Us theme, and it got
That's your most popular.
yeah, it got and let me look. It got 3,100 views in like a 2-day span.
Great.
So, um now they're not as busted, but they're still pretty prevalent. I would say Instagram Reels and TikTok are definitely beating it out though. Like Instagram Reels is
Yeah.
where you go to watch someone get killed by a car accident. TikTok
Yeah.
is like TikTok is kind of just default like how you get streamlined short form content. And I would
hmm
say they're the most popular.
That's what I feel like. Instagram feels less streamlined because, like I said, it's like a coin toss of whether, like, each time I swipe, it's like a coin toss of whether I'm gonna see like just like some random shit post meme or like a Gazan family getting lit on fire by bombs or something. So it's like I just don't, and it's like my brain can't take that. Like I had. That's why I said I have to keep delete instant. I have to keep deleting Instagram because just like I can't do this, bro. Like
One
you
of the
know.
things is like how many times I've watched a motorcyclist just get killed in a car accident. Like people
Yeah.
people will do speed runs of how fast it takes them to see someone die on their Instagram Reels feed.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's kind of nuts actually, like how often you'll see that kind of
Well, that's
stuff
the
on there.
thing. Well, that's the thing. People talk about like, oh, this. I was watching a video about like the deep web
Yeah.
the other day, and it's like, oh, the deep web is so scary, and you'll see this crazy stuff you won't find anywhere else. It's like all I have to do is open up Instagram for 5 seconds to see like the worst shit imaginable.
Seriously.
You can't even, and it's like you can't even regulate that because
Yeah,
we know all these social medias have like huge bot problems and all that stuff. So it's like, how do you even crack down on that?
exactly.
Those content moderators that like literally their job is to just comb through all the like most horrible shit on Meta and
I
Instagram and
I
stuff.
think they all got eviscerated during COVID. Do you remember when COVID started and all the Instagram employees
Yeah,
went home and weren't told to do any work? And so Instagram was just unmoderated for like 4 months.
that's crazy.
At the beginning of COVID, they like sent all their moderation team and their developers home, but didn't require them to actually work on the app. So there was like people dying, people just like straight up streaming themselves like doing horrific shit. It was so unregulated. Oh,
I
I
know a
can't.
couple of incidents like that of like crazy live streams and stuff.
Yeah.
You want to know? This is kind of an aside, but I want to talk about like stuff that needs to get taken down. Um, I've been getting into a lot of. I've always been into like lolcow stuff on the internet,
Yeah.
but I've been getting more into it. Um, do you know this dude, Daniel Larson?
Yeah, the homeless guy that keeps getting arrested over and over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, he's on YouTube. Like, I guess he keeps getting banned or something, but I literally am subscribed to him.
So
And
he's really popular on
yeah,
TikTok. That's like his primary
I
platform.
knew that's where he kind of went big. But yeah,
Yeah.
he does stuff on YouTube too. It's kind of unreal because I think he just got arrested and he's in jail now.
Yeah.
I think. because he missed his court date or something. But yeah, this guy's on YouTube. It's like, because this guy talks about he talks about like children in ways that you shouldn't,
Oh
and
yeah.
he'll like dox people and stuff. And like I was just scrolling by and I saw something about that. But there's this other guy. Oh my god, do you know about Cyrax?
No.
Dude, I gotta show you a video on Cyrax. He's one of those people. It's where almost kind of like Chris Chan, where it's like some dude who already has like problems being raised by like a horrible family. He looks like an actual caveman. Because he's like unkempt and disgusting, but he gets trolled a lot. There's honestly so much lore I really can't get into it like all, but I'll have to send you. Let me look. I'll have to send you a video on this guy. Oh my god, there's a new Cyrax content. Oh no!
What?
Cyrax's incest fetish? Oh god.
Oh god.
It gets worse every day. Fortunately, he doesn't have any siblings. Oh god. But no, I've been getting a lot of into that stuff. I just need like new types of content every few weeks. You know,
Yeah.
every few weeks I get bored of YouTube and I'm like, I need some new content to watch. I've been trying to stay away from YouTube and just social media in general. I
Yeah.
watched this video about how social media like fucks with like the reward mechanism in your brain.
Yeah. Your
'Cause, like you
dopamine
don't really have to
receptor.
do anything except for just kind of move your thumb around a little bit, to get that like that mental reward.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe this is why I don't want to do anything.
That dopamine hit.
Like, yeah. But I pretty much just have Instagram to just check my DMs occasionally. So. Did you have anything else on the list?
Nah, I think I'm cooked. I think I'm fried. And he's dead.
Yeah, I might be cooked too. I can only sit on this chair for so long.
Well,
I already feel like an old person.
we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting
That time exists.
what time it is over there because it's so it must be 5 over there, right?
No, 7.
I keep forgetting
Or
if I'm
6, I mean.
ahead or
It's
behind.
6. So it's 6 o'clock here. It's 5 o'clock where you are.
Oh, okay. Yep. Well, there you go.
I noticed when you were sharing your screen, by the way, your computer is still set to Eastern time.
I know. I saw that. I didn't know how to fix it. I'm like, I'll look up how to. Oh wait, I can just right click and it says adjust time and date.
So you could also go to your settings and go to, where is it? Go to time and
time.
Yeah, I mean you could, but there's something called time and language, and then you just change your time zone.
Oh, hang on. Oh, what time zone am I in?
You're in the central time zone. You're in the same. The way I'm able to remember is because you're in the same time zone as my mom.
Oh, okay.
So whatever time it is for her, it is for you.
Oh, okay. There, just fixed it. Okay. Dane coming in clutch, fixing my computer again.
So you ready?
I can't wait till I get more computer savvy.
It's fun. The only reason so I already knew about all the software stuff because I grew up using these things, but the actual hardware part, I learned it out of necessity because I had a bunch of parts and no one to build it, and I didn't want to pay somebody to build it, so I just taught myself how to build a computer.
Nice.
And now I'm like super into building computers. I'm way more in depth now with like troubleshooting them. It just all came out of necessity, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to be there eventually, especially when I start using, like DAWs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're using DAWs, a lot of RAM is key. A lot of RAM and it being a decent speed is like That's the key to it. And a good CPU
Oh,
to control
God.
all of it.
Oh no!
Huh.
I just gleeked on my computer.
Oh shit.
You know what gleeking?
Yeah,
You know what
where you
gleeking is?
all over the place.
Yeah. Oh god.
I mean, when I
I knew a guy who
cheat.
could do that on. I knew a guy who could do that.
Ugh.
Like everybody else, I think it's just an accident. But I knew a dude who could just do it on command. It's disgusting.
Sheik leak on me till I gluck. All right. Well, you want to sign us out for the podcast?
Sure. What's a piece of knowledge I know to end the day? Um, People already in the roundabout have the right of way. So
Oh hell
remember
yeah.
that, and don't crash because that's bad. And then if you crash, you'll die and you won't be able to watch our next stream.
It's actually very
That's it.
true. I didn't think
Very
about that
insightful.
aspect.
I just randomly thought about the time that I almost died because I didn't know people in the roundabout already have right. Just randomly thought about that.
Have you ever been in a double lane roundabout?
I'd never even seen one, honestly. I didn't know those were a thing.
There's one near me where you have to when you get into the roundabout, you merge into the inner lane, and then when you're about to leave it, you merge into the exit lane.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare.
It is a nightmare. I hate it. I'm glad it's like a parking lot roundabout and not a main road roundabout because I think I would die.
Yeah. Damn.
Well, all right. That's been Forbidden FM. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And bye bye.
Bye, everybody.